think too much of himself.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. We're live. Good afternoon, my brother Sariang. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very
Should
good.
I say happy belated independence?
Well, you can say that. I mean, there's nothing wrong saying that. We're all Gambians.
Bro, I was looking forward to seeing you in Atlanta, Georgia with Jainaba. You were not able to make it, man.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I was a bit disappointed in as much as you told me you couldn't make it. But I was just hoping upon hope that you might be able to do a last minute change of mind. You know how that goes.
I was here, man, hustling.
Doing what you have to do. I mean, we had a good event last night. I mean, it was nice. I mean, the turnout wasn't all that, you know. I mean, it looks like, and I saw also in Texas as well, they had their independence. I don't know, you know, people really, I mean, it was decent, but it wasn't as much as I expected. I thought it was going to be much, lot more people showing up. But, you know, we did what we had to do. Some people showed up, and the first secretary from Washington was here too, Sekou Cisse.
Oh, okay.
Sekou. So it was good, definitely. We had a good celebration, and I just want to say congratulations to Ajera, and congratulations to Malik Senghor. He's the new chairperson, and he really worked hard, going up and down. You know how these African organizations are. If you're the lead, bro, you do all the work.
Yeah, it's tough.
You know, I mean, and it's just unfortunate. And congratulations to Fat Job as well, the social secretary. She worked really hard too as well. Congratulations to the entire team.
Yeah.
They definitely put up a show. And I want to extend and thank the first secretary showing up as well. You know, we interacted. We picked him up from the airport, and he's a nice gentleman, definitely. And we're looking forward to working with him.
First secretary of what? Of the Gambia at the United Nations?
No. At the embassy in Washington.
Oh,
I think that's the title, first secretary, I believe.
okay.
You know, I'm not very.
I thought he's the ambassador. The one at the United Nations is first, second. I don't know, permanent mission or something.
No. This is not New York. This is not the permanent mission in New York. This is like in the Gambian embassy. I think you have the ambassador
in DC.
In DC, and then you have the deputy ambassador was Drame. Drame was here last year, and this year they sent Sekou. I believe Sekou is the first secretary or whatever they call them, chancellor. I'm not sure what his real title is, but I think it's the first secretary, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. So how did you celebrate the independence, bro? You were just working, right?
I did not watch any part of it. I was working at Vancouver International Market. That's all I was doing.
Hey, that's also one way of celebrating it, you know.
I was
definitely
there, keeping it real. So trying to set up a meat and fish market. So that's what I was engaged with. Yes.
Oh wow! Within the same vicinity, right?
Yes.
That is very common here also. When I see some markets, there's one called Darussalam, and and there's this guy also, Sawani Enterprise. I mean, he does that as well. He has like a mini market, and then he gets into selling meat and chicken, and that's.
If you want lamb chops, I will ship it to you up to Atlanta, no problem. You know.
Is that right?
On Alaska cargo. No, I'm not kidding, man. I will send it to you. Oh, absolutely.
So let's say, for instance, I wanted to kind of order like a half lamb. How much we talking about?
Oh, I will. We're not gonna discuss that online. You get a special discount.
No, you're not only discussing it with. Hold on.
No. But
you're not discussing only with me. There are a lot of potential customers that are listening as well.
Okay. Well, I can ship it. I can ship it to you.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, sir. But Sariang all over the place. It's all about Masembeh. I'm telling you. How did you, I mean, what's your take, bro? You heard about the results, I'm sure. I mean,
no, I'm gonna default on you. What is your political insight? What is your analysis? I'll wait for you, man. Just roll out what your thinking is and what you think about.
No, it was like it was very interesting. Like we said last week and also online, I did say that in as much as I think it was Yunus Haidara who talked about the sample size, that it was, and it doesn't tell a lot. I kind of disagree. I thought there was a reason why both sides, especially the government, basically threw everything at it. I thought it was a mistake. Here you're looking at an opposition stronghold, and it's a by-election. They could have been much more cautious, especially knowing that it will be tough to flip it. But instead of being calculating, I think they thought, you know what, let's just bomb rush this thing. Let's send everything at it. The ministers, which I also have a problem with. I think they should really desist from cabinet ministers engaging in campaigning. I think they need to really desist that. I can understand the party apparatus to kind of get involved, because even here in the United States, sometimes when some of these secretaries of states are being interviewed, they will always default to say that, I'm not here representing whatever. There's always a caveat. So I think that's something that we need to clean up and allow the parties to campaign. But either way, I thought UDP did what they had to do, and very encouraging, of course. They couldn't really afford to lose it, and they stood their ground in as much as the government threw everything at them, even though the Fabusanes and the Alkali Contes, coming in the last minute, and GT, again, they did everything. But again, it demonstrated that UDP was very resilient, and they needed to win. They did what they had to do. And I would say congratulations, really. They definitely pulled it off. And that is why I really want to hear what MPP has to say. Was it really worth it? Bambamas, I congratulate my brother Dibachako and Karamba, and yes, Bamba. they because you were online throwing everything. Oh, she said Alkali wasn't there. I thought I saw his picture. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I thought I saw his picture online. Maybe he didn't go to, but I for sure I saw what's his name, Fabu was there campaigning in GT as well. Quite a few of cabinet ministers. They threw everything at this small place. Again, I think the whole thing was trying to embarrass the party, trying to, what I would call, kind of saying, you know what, we're going to walk into their stronghold and we're going to take it away from them. And it didn't happen. So again, congratulations to the United Democratic Party for holding on to the seat. And I believe, in as much as it's people are saying that 1,500 voters, but there is a lot more to it than the vote itself. Brother Maron.
Yeah, I don't think it's insignificant. I think every area in Gambia is in play, so take it seriously. The reason why the government dispatched some folks to go out there, they take it seriously. So I think at the end of the day, it's about messaging. Stand on your message. And I think they were very effective in, showcasing that, every elections, they come out here telling you that they're going to erect the roads, make you roads, give you these promises. But I think there's a fundamental key here that I take exception to. This notion that if you are an opposition, or if you are a councillor or an MP, you will not have a direct contact with the government or the president's inability to face with you to bring development to your area. And I think UDP needs to twitch that message and counterpunch on that, because the last time I checked, Gambia is a multi-democracy. We don't have a one-party system, and it's becoming a common theme within MPP. And I think it's more of being lack of understanding the plight of the people, right? If you talk to anyone, you just came from Gambia. It's not all green out there. We know that people have their challenges, they have their struggles. But if you wanted to sit down, whenever surveys come out, that doesn't that somehow contravenes with their thinking and how they project how the government is. They try to downplay those things, right? So the fact is, I think there is more to be done, but I would like to see a more serious pushback on this notion that, oh, it's the opposition. And I saw Fabu himself get on the mic and was talking about that. I think that was very, very disappointing, understanding that Jammeh, we had this one-party system in Gambia for a while. He was a dictator. We fought it. We instilled a democratic government coming out there whenever they circumbalance. Everybody, they sit out there, they talk about, oh, opposition. But let's think about it. There was an opposition, a coalition that came together in 2016. They selected Adama Barrow as a flag bearer. They came together, diaspora, and that's why this man was elected as president of the Gambia. So somehow, being an opposition is a bad omen, and I think there's an effective messaging to talk about it, the cost of everything. And I think it's very unfair.
What are you saying? What were they saying that you have issues with, that being a
But I just told you. What do you mean? I don't have. I'm trying to push back. Oh, hold on. Well, you keep doing this. Hold on a second. Hold on. I want to start this on a very good note, whereby we have a good exchange. Okay. I just said, and I think. Oh, hold on. No, hold on. You do this all the time. Hold on a second. You are not part of the government. The last time I checked, you are not the spokesman of the MPP. All I'm just saying, and I'm very, very clear what I said here. I said this notion that if you are an opposition councillor or MP, somehow you cannot bring development to your area, or you cannot work with the president. I think that is misleading. That's what I said, and I think I'm very, very clear. What do you not understand about that?
No, I am trying, bro. Let's have a conversation.
No, we are having a conversation, but sometimes
you don't have to
hold on a second. What do you want me to clarify in that? Because you said what do you have problem with? I don't have a problem with.
No, I don't have a problem. I was saying, I was trying to understand exactly the point that you were driving.
That's what I'm just saying. Is that not fair?
That's why I was seeking clarification.
Well, I don't know what clarification. I was clear as a man.
Oh, bro, relax.
No, I'm very. Trust me. I'm very, very relaxed. I'm not on a defensive mode at all. I am not.
Okay.
I definitely am not on a defensive mode at all. But sometimes, I don't understand when you take these directions and try to say, oh, what do you have? I don't have a problem. I'm speaking.
No, I did not say that.
That's what you said. What did they say that you have?
No, I said, Mike, the question that I was asking, because I was listening, trying to see, because I really didn't hear what Fabu said. So I needed a clarification that what did he say that you thought, you said this whole notion that opposition cannot bring development. So I'm trying to understand, all right? I'm trying to understand the point that you are trying to make. We're not in disagreement. We just, again, I'm hoping hundreds of people that are listening, and all we're doing is having a discussion. Again, I'm not here speaking or defending the government. All I'm doing is analysis of.
Well, here's the thing. I use Sehumbalo. I use other people. Why Fabu is special?
No, Sehumbalo. I'm just throwing a name. I mean, it's not nothing specific.
Okay, good. I stick with my pushback that you said, at least, yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
If I understand you right, these guys were out there, whether it's Sehumbalo or Fabu or even, Dusano, and their point was, again, I'm just seeking clarification. Their campaign tone was to the people of Kiang, hey, we are the government. We are the ones that are going to bring development to this community. Voting for this opposition or this ward, these people cannot bring development to you because they don't have access to the president. And that's what you have issues with, right?
Yes, and that's true. They said it. There is
They
absolutely
did. They
ample
did.
of details.
I'm not saying they did not.
Okay.
I'm not saying they did not. All I was trying to seek was that clarification, and that was the point that you were making.
And what is your take on that one, Father Mose? Speak to that. Let's analyze. Is that a fair assessment?
Let me put it this way. Do I understand the politics of it? That a sitting government would always come and it will pitch, especially in politics. Look, we are in government. We are in charge of state mercenary. We are at the state house. The president is responsible for the budget. So the people of Masembeh, if you vote for this councillor, it will be easier for him to work with the president. Do I understand the politics of it? Yes, I do. Is that all about incumbency? Yes, that's what it is. Is it morally bankrupt? Yes, it is, because we are talking about taxpayers' money. In other words, an opposition should be able to coordinate and work with the government and bring development in every community. Absolutely. But do I understand the politics? Yes, I do. Do I know why they are utilizing that to help themselves win elections? Yes, I get it. It's the politics of it. Would I sanction it? Would I think it's fair? Do I understand your outrage? Yes, I do. Did I answer your question, Brother Mara?
No. The thing about it is the whole thing. My analysis. You have a. I don't have. I want to speak truth to power, and this is not the first time. Last week I said the same thing. I think that is very unfair and it's misleading to go to the people when in fact you were in the opposition before you are the government. And the opposition will be in the government someday. They're not going to be there for perpetuity.
Absolutely.
Of course, we all know that. If anyone is thinking about that, maybe you need to go back and learn politics very well. Last year, 2 years ago, John Mai Fai was the main opposition. They put him in jail. Today, he and his partner is the president and the prime minister of Senegal. So I think this whole misleading, but I think the opposition needs to take this message effectively and counterpunch them, because I think, first of all, you can say it, oh, it's the politics of it, blah, blah. No, but you know what? You can talk so much, such like people cannot decide for themselves. The notion that, oh, it's a non-starter. The last time I checked, Gambia is a multi-party state. And this whole thing of Jambe playbook coming back in our political space and people endorsing that, we need to push back on it. And I think that is the truth. It's the template, 101, Jammeh. That's what he does. Oh, he stood there, people of Kiang. If you don't vote for me, no development. Allah Silol Bekanga. The same, I saw people write on the same thing. That is bad. That's what I'm trying to say. I think people should be able to exercise their rights. If they vote for the candidate of their choice, you should not saying that somehow development should not come to their area. I think that's all my contention is on this issue.
And again, I will echo the same sentiment that any leader worth its salt, if you're going to deny a community because they voted against you, that leader is not worth anything. Any leader, because the moment you get elected, you become the president of an entire country. Again, the point that I made was, do I understand the politics of it? Incumbents will use it? Yes, they will. Even in Western democracies, they will talk like that. They will talk about, they will tout the federal government and things that they were able to do for the state of Kentucky. They will talk like that. They will do anything to win votes. But anyway, pivoting, bro, what happened in Masembeh? Why was the people of Masembeh rejected the NPP with everything that they threw at them? What do you think happened? Why were they rejected?
They are rejected because they had first experience of the challenges that the whole country faces. That's the truth. Politicians, government officials don't visit you, they don't talk to you, they don't knock on your doors when you are facing those challenges. When election comes in, they bombard you, telling you that we're going to give you a visa to go to Canada. We're going to put $500,000 in your bank account. What does? And I think the message, effectively, what we learn about this is you gotta stick and spoke. And you know, after this program, I spoke to someone who was online. He said, you know what? I've been here, and I'm not going to mention his name. And he's originally from here. I knock on doors. I interface with these families besides the usual politics. I know their issues, right? And I think it should be like that. It should be a two-way street. The fact that somebody comes in and give you a bag of rice, an oil, or sugar, a cooking pot, and you have to vote for the next 5 years or so facing those challenges, I really think we just need to shift the dynamic a little bit, right? So I think it doesn't, this whole thing, oh, it's a position stronghold. Why did you send every damn resources down there to put everything in the game? Throw every kitchen sink to stick. If you know that it's a opposition, you should have given up. You were there telling people that people need to talk to the political leader, the candidate, for them to drop out. If you know that, why did you do all that stuff? So it doesn't make sense to come here. It's a stronghold, yes, but I think nothing is stronghold, because if you look at the margin, it's pretty close. I mean, people will argue saying, oh, you know, they increased their money, but it's in play. And I think everyone needs to take these seriously and play out. You need to talk to the voters. You cannot sideline any voters. I think this is in play, door to door, from tapping to Koina. Talk to the voters, listen to them, listen to their plight, what they had to say. It seems like another device is on, bro, Musa.
Yeah, it's Karamba.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I think Karamba just came on and we could hear another device.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put mine on mute, inshallah.
Until my guy here Yarama Mungi Tanga.
No, it's the Yaramam Tangut. You know, sometimes I don't understand, you know, Yaramam Tangut Fale. Man, okay, because man, I know, number one, the fact that the verdict of the people, and people exercise their rights by voting for the candidate of their choice. That itself, Suma Yaram do what is Yaram there to Tanga? The fact that the status quo has been repudiated, the fact that millions has been pumped into it, still now they didn't listen. The voters stood up and say enough of it, enough. We gotta select the person of our choice, and they did.
Definitely.
So what do I play on Bitangu de Mandaman? I ate my breakfast, my solo, my new Jacarlo ayo, Lola. The brother Karamba, you got the floor, man.
Karamba.
Yes, sir.
I was reading your reaction on the struggle, you know,
Yes.
and very excited. I mean, you predicted that the government will be rejected. They threw everything in Kiang Masembeh. Karamba, do you think that this was a bad miscalculation? What were they trying to do? You're talking about a small ward, and they decided to put a lot of resources at it. What was the thinking? What were they trying to do?
Well, thank you very much, first of all, for having me, and my greetings to you and Sariang and all of your wonderful listeners. Important question. I think several things were at play here. You have to look at the state of the country itself. We are a very divided country at this point, and that is projected in the politics also, particularly. You know, we are divided primarily because of the nature of the politics. And also, it was an occasion for people to, it was like one big movie set for people, different characters to come and audition, especially on the NPP side. You have to understand each character that showed up there, they were there, they don't care about the candidate or the ward. It was a self-preservation exercise for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whoever was in there, whether it's, you know, people that they are, you know, who are abandoning their assignments overseas in these embassies to come in, it was a self-validation exercise at an individual level for all of those people. And then it is also intra-NPP politics, because they are not as united as they project themselves to be. Between themselves, they have these internal rivalries. And then this was a perfect opportunity for multiple factions who are kind of competing for influence and power within NPP to each come and then stake a position and then see whether they can get an outcome that they can then ride on and say, this is my own little victory. And that was the major miscalculation, because they thought this was like Nyamina or Jokadu. Remember, we had by-elections in Nyamina, and then we had one in Jokadu also. And in both of those cases, what they did is exactly what they repeated here, just different actors then, but the playbook was the same, which is to come to a small ward and then camp there for 2-3 weeks and then saturate it with money and then just basically buy themselves a seat. But Kiang is very, very different. It's a totally different demographic. And these are fiercely independent-minded people. You cannot tell people from Kiang and Jara what to do. And if you come there, especially if you are competing for something, you need to be very, very careful about your knowledge of the demographics there. So all in all, I think they did not miscalculate. They just thought, we will go there, it's a small ward, and then if we saturate it with money, and then with a lot of people kind of prancing around, and then and also the manner they were talking to the people of the constituency suggested to me that they don't understand those people. A lot of what they were saying was not political persuasion. They were trying to hector these people, and I listened to all of them very carefully. When they are speaking, let's say when Sidinja and Sehumbalo and Demba Sabali and others are speaking, they speak in what we call a dog whisper here in the United States. Yes.
Yeah.
And then they were kind of stirring things up in that direction. And they were trying to appeal to just one slice of the constituency over there. But in the process, they were angering and alienating another slice. And then the other ones that they have over there who thought they were from the area, they could go and then kind of just pull rank. In some communities, you can go to them and tell them, look, I am chief of protocol at Adama Barrow, and then because of that, you guys should all be like cattle, and then just kind of be behind me, because I'm a native son, and then he put me in a position. That doesn't play. It doesn't play in Kiang. It doesn't play in Jara. It wouldn't play in Badibu, and then it wouldn't play in other areas. You have to know where that works. So the fact that Dr. Samate is from Kiang is irrelevant, because the average Kiang voter will make up his own mind. I mean, he might be happy for Dr. Samate because he's in the cabinet, but that is not it's not a political yardstick for him to kind of take leave of his own judgment and then just say, my man, Mr. Samate is the minister, so I just got to fall in line. It's a totally different constituency. So did they miscalculate? Yes. But what was driving the miscalculation was an ardent desire on the part of the political actors they deployed over there to kind of self-validate. They wanted to show that Lamin Cham wanted to say, look, and I'm going to have my way here. Yeah, I mean, you don't, because you cannot tell those people what to do, so you will not have your way. So all in all, that's what happened. And then the way they were campaigning also turned off a lot of people that they needed to win. You cannot go to people, and then I saw, some of them when they are speaking in the rallies. I mean, it's almost like it's not a lecture, but you are kind of essentially trying to belittle people to say that you don't know what is in your best interest. You are essentially not up to the job of making your own assessments in a democratic fashion. You need to fall in line because there is an electricity pole that is running through Kuinala or whatever. And you don't deserve that, and then somebody is doing you a favor. These people understand what a country is. They understand what the role of government is. They also understand what their role in a democracy is. So if you come to them, it's just like somebody telling you, Musa Jeng, in your home in Serakunda over there, you have electricity and all of that, and somehow you need to be grateful to somebody to do that. It's not going to fly with you. because you will make up your mind, not based on what some kind of a story that somebody was doing. So they were just kind of thinking, these people, you got to go down there and then just tell them that you are there to tell them what is in their best interest. And that does not work with people who are independent minded. And you have to understand, Kiang has a history of fierce resistance, even before independence and all of that. You can't tell them what to do. You need to come, and then with respect, you need to earn their respect. And then their loyalty is not transactional either. I don't care how much money you bring in. You know, you are not going to be able to buy them off. Now, there are constituencies in the country where money will buy you votes directly. We know that. But you have to know where those constituencies are, and then you deploy it there, and it will work. It works in Nyamina. If they go back in Nyamina, there's another by-election there.
So let me get this straight. You say that, you mentioned earlier that you talk about Kiang Ojara, these are independent-minded people.
Yeah.
And you also went on to say that there are certain kind of campaigning, trying to buy people. It wouldn't work in Kiang, it wouldn't work in, but you go to places like Nyamina, it would work. I mean, how do you get to that? How do you get to that conclusion? Just because in Masembeh, they were able to vote against the government for the opposition. That's why they are not. Are you just making the deduction because of the results? Or is it something that you think would work in Nyamina, but wouldn't work in Kiang?
And I'll give you an example in Nyamina. And this is a very sad commentary. From independence to now, they have always consistently voted with the government, essentially. And they literally never oppose whoever is in power. And then they have a sitting MP, the minority. Samba Jallo has been there for 20 years. He has not done anything there. But you know, he's able to slide by with 150, 200 votes each time because he knows how to manipulate and divide the people. You understand? It's not so in places like that, you can come and then you can, if you put money on the table, and then you are able to just go to people and say, well, you know, it's always a good idea to go along with whoever is in power. And then, by the way, here is a sujer, and then here is rice, here is 15,000, 20,000, whatever. And you come there, you will get the seat. You understand? Because it is just the nature of the voters there. They are not inclined to oppose the government in the first place. And second of all, the transaction politics is what works there. Because they think if you come and then you are asking them for you to go and represent for them, that is a favor you are seeking for yourself. They don't see it as a duty you owe them. You understand? So the calculation is that, you know, if Musa wants the seat and then he's willing to grease my palm, I'll take the money. You understand? And then, so when you do that, you can use influence peddling and money, and then you will get your way. But it does not work in certain areas. And one of those certain areas is Kiang. No, it doesn't matter how much money you have or how fierce you are. Remember, Yahya Jammeh was slaughtering people. They opposed Yahya Jammeh consistently for 22 years.
Yeah.
You understand? And it's you cannot threaten them because they are not the kind. Some people, Musa, if the sub-inspector in Georgetown Jambure police station shows up in the village, that's all you need. He just has to drive in there with the Land Rover or something, and he doesn't even have to do anything. And then they will be quaking in their boots. So it's each part of the country is different. So if you are going to compete, you have to understand the folks for who they are, and then you deploy the politics you think you can win. In some places, you can buy voters. In some places, you can do tribal manipulation, and it will appeal to people. In some places, you can use fear, the instruments of government. You can use the chief, you can use whoever it is, the station NIA director or whatever. You can even the prison warden. You can use them as long as he's a uniformed person and all of that. They just don't. They are, you know, you could intimidate people. But and then also Kiang is not where you can say, well, there is a particular group of people, they have Kiang in their hand. No. You know, so you cannot have sort of people come and then just be influence peddlers. No. You know, if you want the voters from one part of Kiang, you will go and engage them, and then engage them individually, and then they will make up their own mind. If they make up their mind to support you, they will support you. And then if they make up their mind to oppose you, it doesn't matter what you deploy, they will oppose you.
So Karamba,
Yeah.
again, victory for the United Democratic Party. They held on to the seat. What is there that was done in Masembeh? Because most people, when they talk about this by-election, they're looking at 2026. They're like, that's ultimately people are looking at.
Yeah.
What can we derive or deduce from these results to say, you know what, maybe if we replicate this in 2026, we can see an opposition victory? I mean, are you able to win, or would that be too far-fetched? You're looking about a sample size that is so small.
Yes,
I mean,
yes. I don't want us to get ahead of ourselves because in strictly numbers time, this is a small ward, and then you are talking about 2,000, 2,500 votes. That's what was up for grabs.
Yes.
So is it demographically representative of the whole country? No, it is not. It's a very small ward. It is fairly sparsely populated, and then it was only 2 players that were competing there. So in that case, it is not an accurate template for what we expect nationwide in 2026. But what it shows is that the 2 main rivals in the political space now, UDP and NPP, it shows that at least on the UDP side, I don't want to speak for NPP, we understand NPP. We know how to fight them, and then we also know how to fight them and win. You understand? And some people will say, well, this is your stronghold. Yes. But then an incumbent in African politics can take your stronghold from you.
Absolutely.
You understand? So the stronghold thing just goes that far. But in this case, it is credit to the people of Kiang. You understand? Because in a democracy, Musa, you have to rely on individuals exercising their judgment. You can come with the best. I mean, if we go to Nyamina, when we were in the presidential election, I saw Esa Fall there. His policies for them would have been the best for them. But he didn't get any votes there. They wouldn't even entertain him. Because a lot of the voters over there, they are more they are into something totally different. So he will not have traction there at all. It does not matter what ideas or anything like that. So is it a template for 2026? To some extent, it is. Because what it shows is that if the president has determined opponents, NPP has opponents that are very determined. And then these are opponents that are also willing to raise the resources they need to fight the battles that they need to fight. And then also they have a constituency. We understand Kiang very well. This is the heart of the party. And we know that they are about you telling them what you represent. What are your values? What are you willing to do? Do you have a sense of patriotism in you? They are very patriotic people. They want people who demonstrate, fealty to the country and its people. You understand? And then they are not moved by threats and material inducements, because remember, Yahya tried that.
And it didn't work.
They were the bitterest opponents of Yahya Jammeh. If everybody took off to Kiang, Yahya would not have lasted beyond the transition. He would be gone. You understand? So in that case, it is. But then it also tells you how the battle is going to shape up, because we did not only have to fight very hard, we had to be vigilant. Remember, even the counting, they nearly instigated anarchy there, because they knew they were losing, and then they wanted to disrupt the counting process. You understand? And a lot of trench warfare went behind the scenes there, because you had to fight them at every level that they did, because they were relying on going out there and then kind of just knocking at the door and then trying to slash the door down. You understand? But it tells you that if the political opposition, and this is not only limited to UDP, if any political party is committed enough and then is willing to fight hard enough, this is somebody who is beatable. You can beat him, because the country is not on the right path. Everybody instinctively feels it. Everybody is just looking for what is the viable alternative for me to make sure that these guys are gone. And that is a trade win that not only UDP, but all the other opposition parties can ride, and then they can tap into that and tell people, look, you don't have to live the life that you are living. we can offer you a way out of what we are experiencing, because these people, they don't care about the country. They don't care about how you are suffering, because they are not suffering. All of them are overweight, Musa. They are not suffering. Of course, they are not suffering. So the rest of the burden is being carried by people. And then even those of us who are outside, we're looking at it and we are saying, why are they subjecting our people to this kind of stuff? And also they are out of touch. You have to understand, they've been in power for 8 years, and then they have been riding the gravy train. So they are out of touch.
Yeah.
They don't seem to feel the pulse of the country. So these are big vulnerabilities within the system. And I think it's a big opportunity. And everybody can look, not only UDP. You can beat this guy. Go after him and tell the Gambian people what it is that you represent. And because people want to know that you can fight for your ideas.
Yeah.
You don't want to cut corners. You don't want to be just a briefcase politician who wants to come on Musa Jeng's show and then talk big. But you don't want to kind of roll your sleeves and go to Jasobo.
Let me let my man Sarian. Sarian,
Yes.
come on in and questions for Karamba. Brother Marong. When I young you did.
As you were doing your analysis, I received a text from someone from Masembeh. And here goes, he said, bro, I'm originally from Masembeh. Yeah, I just make kill Mahawa Chan. And people like Sidinjai, who are never remorseful of the barbaric act, cannot lead any delegation in Masembeh for people to listen to them. And I think in your summary, you kind of say they were out of touch and the way they were approaching voters. And I think I mentioned that earlier, saying that, you need to vote for your interests. You don't know what you are voting for. And I think all these feelings, are very, very raw. And someone who really up to today doesn't really feel that Yaya Jammeh has done anything wrong. And a native person from that village saying that, hey, you know what? I think they had the wrong messengers at the forefront, trying to induce voters to vote the other way without, kind of taking the pulse and listening to them. And I don't know what your perspective is that on that part.
Exactly. The all their surrogates there. Particularly the guy that you cited, Sidinjai, and they don't understand how polarizing and how infuriated certain segments of the population is towards Sidinjai. They don't understand that. You understand? They feel that the guy is a smooth talker, and he's gotten them something. That is kind of where they are misreading all of this stuff. So they push him out there, and then basically he was in charge of their campaign. The other ones were just sort of his underlings, and they were kind of trying to audition on their own, but then he overshadowed them. And then Sidinja is not somebody who is going to appeal in 90% of the country. You understand? Because of his record, and then also just because of the way he comes across. You understand? And then the way he was campaigning over there, it was very condescending. Even the way he asked for our candidate essentially to be withdrawn. And then he kind of wrapped himself around as if he's kind of telling the elders there that you need to do your job, that God has forbidden this, and that sort of thing. And then it was just totally out of place. You understand? But then to him, I gotta go out there because they thought they will just wrap this thing up, and then he, Sidinjai, can then go to the president and tell him, look, all of you are these, UDP traitors who came and joined you later, who are from Kiang, they've got no juice over there. I went and then I got this thing out over there. You understand? And then those guys were also trying all their best to look like they can kind of get this back, and then so that way they can because Sidinjai always tells them, you guys have it's all big mouth. In your own communities, you cannot even pull your own families. You understand? So everyone was there to try to kind of butter their own bread. And what they forgot in all of that calculation is the people of Kiang. They are not going to be your patsies, and where you're going to come, and then for your own good, you're going to try to come and then hector them and say, well, this, you don't know what is in your best interest. Says who? You know, they know this is their country, Musa Jeng. If there is electricity expansion, it's got to come to them. It's there. Ken Mayulenko. You understand? They know that. But these people going over there who are trying to put that as a campaign vehicle, they don't know who these people, who the people of Kiang are. And then they've been taught a good lesson. And I think they are going to kind of roll back. If you notice, they are awfully quiet. Because, they roll. And then the way they stake their necks, Musa, there's no political wisdom in saying we are going to go to their stronghold and we'll take it from them.
That's what I said earlier. That's why I said it was the miscalculation. That's where it comes in.
Absolutely.
Brother Karamba, moving forward, you know, when I look at the whole campaign structure, though, what I saw was people were very disciplined. They were very united. And the message was fine-tuned. When I see the likes of Boubacar Siddiq, you know, Lamin Sanes, Yaya Mentengs, Rohi Malik Lobis, Talib Bensoudas, and Landing, the chairman, these guys were very, very central focus, and they did not want distraction. You know, you saw that Pakaz when those two convoys wanted to have some issues, Karafa came out and said, you know what, we're not gonna do this. Let's tap things down. Let's focus. But what can we replicate from this? Because I think there was absolute seriousness, and they were laser focused because they knew there was a target, and they wanted to head to that target. And what can we replicate from this moving forward, and coming together and united and singing the same song? Because I was really impressed with that.
Yes, precisely. You are right. And then by and large, it was a peaceful campaign, except for a little fracas here and there. And then also the sort of the little anarchy that they wanted to instigate at the counting. Because at that point, the other polling stations were called in, and then they knew that, you know, they were on the ropes. So, and I can understand there was a lot of high emotion. And then they were also emotionally invested in the campaign. Because remember, they camped there, and then this is a very small ward. You're basically talking about 5 villages: Torankabandang, Jasobo, Jomari, Kolior, Masembeh. So you can, you know, there is just this many rounds you can do there for a 2.5-week campaign period. So by and large, the conduct was good. And then on our part, you are right. We deployed surrogates in a very strategic way, and each of them had a role that they played. And then we also did what I consider saturation retail campaigning, you know, where Rohi was there at the same time that Talib was there, and then at the same time that Landing was there, and then and all of the other campaign team, you know, and then Mr. Sane, who is actually from there, basically stayed there, and then he was pulling a lot of the strings, you know, and making sure that we were focused, because these are our people, and then we knew how to identify them, how to mobilize them, and then how to protect the integrity of the voting process itself. And then also we worked very hard to transport our people that are in Combo, you know, because that also made a big difference. You know, we identified where they were, and then we arranged all the logistics. They were picked up, they went over there, they voted, and then they were brought back. So all in all, it was good planning and good execution on our part. And then we, even though this was our stronghold, our approach was that we are the underdog, because the government, not only did the government decide that this was a very high priority, they deployed all their ministers, a lot of their ministers, I want to say, you know, and then whoever was freelancing also, they did that, and then they spent a lot of money there. So I hope that most of it went to go and benefit ordinary people. I hope they don't just skim it off and then take it back out in their land cruisers and that sort of thing. But all in all, it's a good template. But what it also shows is that you have to be able to fight to earn the votes, and then you need to deploy your resources in a manner that allows you to do that. So we couldn't compete with them on the financial level, but we had enough resources to make sure that our message got across to our people, and then we have a deep connection with the people there. You understand? So these people were just kind of trying to poach it from us, and we acted as the underdog and fought as hard as we can, and it paid off. And then we also focused on the people to tell them that this election is about you. And then not only that, the whole country is looking to you people to show these people that people have had enough of them. They need to go. And that was the battle we were fighting. We were thinking that this needed to be, they made it big, so let's make it a referendum on them.
It's not that.
All
No,
right.
so
you.
the echoing that people are talking about actually was coming from Karamba. Like whenever Tariang is asking the question and Karamba has is not on mute, that's when it. Anyway, Pap Samba.
Yes, my greetings to the three Jesuits, because today, you have Karamba, the original Jesuit, and Saria, the level-headed Jesuit, and then of course the hyperbole, hyperbole, Mr. Like, what is it? PPP. That's his new thing now.
Chief strategist. Yeah. Chief strategist.
No, why? To tell you the truth, Karamba, it's good to have you here. I am extremely, extremely happy that the UDP won. And my happiness has nothing to do with actually the UDP. The mere fact that the guy who led it, the spineless, one of the most despicable human beings in the history of that country in Sirinjai, to me, anything that Sirinjai touches should fail. Because I believe that he is one of the worst things that have ever happened to that country. A man who has no belief, he has no core beliefs. He would finagle his way out of anything. He would use the most dubious nonsense to go. And then the sad thing about this whole thing is you look at Masembeh. Musa, I know about Masembeh since the 80s. The only people I hear Masembeh from are the people from Masembeh. Okay, that's why you cannot even pronounce it. To have these people go there and act like you would think that it was the presidential elections that was happening. The amount of resources that they wasted. This is the same PPP, NPP that told us, no, we're not going to be using government vehicles. But we see government ministers leaving their jobs, driving with their vehicles to go to Masembeh to say that they are going to campaign. And it was not for the National Assembly. It was not for the presidency. It was for a council election. So it's utter nonsense. But Karamba, the question that I want to ask you, I saw something, because there was this perception from people that there was some kind of disunity within the UDP, especially Talib and Rohi. You used to hear that. But what I saw, my observation is, there was this show of unity, where you have Rohi, you have all these people all working in unison. What does that say about the party, and where are you guys going with that? I don't know whether, Musa, you noticed that, because you can see a united front
we
from
talked
the
about it.
Yeah.
That if there is one thing that they got right this time around is there was this unity. And I think Sarian kind of alluded to it earlier too as well.
Yeah. Great observation, Coach, and good question. And thank you for savoring the victory with us. We much appreciate it. A lot of people don't understand UDP. And I think, having been around since 1996, I understand the culture of the party. I understand the internal dynamics. And I also understand how people on the outside sometimes perceive the party and they don't fully understand the party. Any growing party, especially one that has a lot of promise and one whose backbone is women and young people, you will always have centers of power within the party. And then, because everybody is young, everybody is an office holder, and everybody has ambition, every now and then people will perceive this as sort of a life-threatening sort of disunity prospect. It's not the case. Everybody within UDP, first of all, considers themselves as a team player. You understand? And then there is not always agreement in terms of how people should approach. And then everybody is different. And we understand and we appreciate and we celebrate the difference. You understand? Now, a little while ago, that was kind of a little bit of back and forth, especially in the media, and but it's all it's all part of the growing process, and it's all part of a dynamic young party that is really appealing to people. Because if we were failing as a political party, there wouldn't be what is considered perceived or what is suspected to be competition among players within the party. But when it is all said and done, we act and think like soldiers. When there is a mission to be done, it will be done. If we need to raise money, we raise money. If we need to deploy surrogates, and we are very careful about how we deploy the surrogates, and everybody wants to pick up. And then this was a campaign. If you notice, Usainu Dabo wasn't there. He did not go there one time.
Yeah, I think that was
Okay. So this was entirely run by the team. I mean, obviously he's the one who is he's the
Most
drone
advertised
overseeing.
leader.
Yes, he's the
okay.
one overseeing all of these things. So we are a very united party. There are a lot of power centers within the party, but that's all for the good. There is no risk of the party splitting. Last summer people were saying that, well, these UDP people are going to implode and this and that and that.
I know.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I assure everybody that this is
Yeah,
a party
Karamba,
that's going well. Yes,
Karamba.
yes,
Now let's get to the nitty gritty.
yes.
Let's get to the bottom of it. Yes, there was victory for United Democratic Party. There are people that are saying, including myself, if you scrutinize the results and you highlighted 4 villages, you said Kolio was one of them. What was the other one?
Jasobo,
Jasobo,
Masembeh,
Masembeh,
Jomari,
and then you
yes.
have the other one, the 5th one,
Torankabanta.
Torakabanta. If you look at the results,
Yeah.
Karamba, people can glean that. If you go to Masembeh, for instance, you look at the composition of the voters, they tend to be overwhelmingly Mandinkas, which obviously UDP was able to win. I mean, if you look at the results, you go to Toronto Banta, which is overwhelmingly the composition of the voters are either Fullers or non-Mandinka voters, which UDP did very badly. If you take those results and you replicate it nationwide, doesn't that show you that there is a problem? Because UDP has to win outside of
It's co-based.
co-base. And if you're not doing well in a place like Toronto Banta,
Yeah.
how are you going to do well in Namibia? How are you going to do well in CRR? And
Correct.
people are saying you cannot win 2026 if you cannot make those people to come in and vote for the United Democratic Party. What say you to that? In as much as there is victory, but there is also problems, or that needs to be looked at very carefully.
No.
Or are these people reading it wrong?
No. I think it's not for nothing that they call you the strategist. I think you are reading something, and it's a valid observation. And we were very disappointed with our performance in Torankabanda, because out of 231 votes, we only got 5.
Yeah.
And this is a place where we have campaigned consistently. And then prior to that, this is the place, in fact, the UDP invested a lot years ago in Torankabanda. It is the only village in the ward where the UDP initiated on a private basis. They set up a borehole, and then they set up a nice women's garden there. Because the chairman and then the political setup over there, we wanted to, as part of the overall outreach, we recognize this is an issue. You understand? And we were hoping to do a lot better than, because the last time we were, this last contest over there, people were doing door to door, and then we had undertakings from a lot of the voters there that they appreciate UDP and that they were going to at least consider us and all of that. But then the outcome obviously is very, very disappointing, because we got less than 1% of the vote over there, and that is the only polling station that we lost out of the 4. And is it a problem? Yes, and we are trying to mitigate it by redoubling our efforts and then reaching out, and then we are making a lot of progress, especially in CRR and in URR that I am personally aware of.
Mhm.
Because you are right. We have to appeal to all segments of voters, and whatever we are doing is not adequate.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, if your outreach effort is not getting you the votes or the traction you need, then that means you are failing somewhere. And then we acknowledge it as an issue, and then we are trying very, very, very hard, including, in fact, the most powerful politician we have now in TRR South was the guy that we fielded as our candidate for chairman, Malik Sow. He's a very important player now in the party, because he came very close to winning the chairmanship. I mean, he just lost by less than 1 or 2 percentage points in CRR South. This is an area that we've always had some problems with. And then since then, his profile and his outreach has really paid off. And then we are making some progress over there. Now, it's still a work in progress. I am not going to say that it is not a problem. And then obviously, to win, you need to win across the board, because winning overwhelmingly on just one side is not going to cut it. So definitely we have to do better. And then in LRR, we've always had a challenge in what in the belt that is called Kabada.
Yeah.
And then that is where the ethnic Fullers live, mostly straddling the Casamance border. And we've tried a lot, but then we need to keep trying more and more and more and more. And that is the same problem that we have in both CRR South, particularly. The two Fuladus, the upper and the lower Fuladu.
Yes.
But then Malik Sow and the team there, they have made a lot of progress. I am sure if we had an election now there for chairman of Janjambure, he will win hands down. That is how much progress he has made. So part of what we need to do is to increase our outreach there, and then to try to recruit as many candidates as we can from those communities, and then help us, at least when those people are the office holders over there. And then we are always looking for people, young people who want to come in, but the thing though is, with Gambian politics, a lot of young people, they're in a hurry.
Yeah.
They don't want to take the time and then kind of build relationships and then build the infrastructure. But we will do better, because we must do better, Musa. You are right. If we are underperforming in that manner in this, but again, this is not a representative sample. We are doing a lot better in other parts of the country. But I think you have a point there.
So the other one was, and this is Mama Kande, of course.
Yeah.
He came out and he supported the UDP candidate. And I think a day or two before, Esafal came out. And I read that endorsement and I thought that it was very powerful. For me, anytime I see the opposition basically coming out saying that we endorse a fellow opposition, to me, what I saw was opportunity. Now, there are other people, my friend, I think he's watching Suntu Dafe, who thought that it was too little, too late. Now, do I believe that SFR's endorsement was going to change voters? But I thought the spirit of it, it's encouraging. What say you to that? An endorsement from Mama Kande and an endorsement from SFL. Could you see maybe opportunities, especially as we look forward to 2026?
Yeah, I think at a minimum, it was a very good demonstration of goodwill. And Mama Kande and Esa, they are important players, and they will be important players in 2026, in my own view. And to show goodwill, even though they did not have candidates in the fight, but then they have demonstrated that they want to be part of change. And in politics, that is important. You understand? That is very, very important in also boosting the morale of the vast majority who are dissatisfied with the direction that the country is on. We have to show them that everybody, regardless of what party they are on, they are committed to the idea that these people need to go because they are not good for the country. And I like Esa and Mama. I think they have a role to play, and I believe that they are also tapping into what the high volume of discontent within the country, and it's resonating. People will be surprised how much support these people are generating also, because the country is not only UDP and NPP. Yeah, there are other people also. There are political independents who also want to look for alternatives. So I believe the preponderance of voters want change. And then if we show them different vehicles and different avenues where they can come and be part of it. What I would want to encourage every Gambian is, don't give up on the country. Don't say, well, there are too many political parties or they are too divided. I think it is hopeless. That is defeatism, Musa. So I made the flower jaral nga hehal ko. You cannot give into the idea that, it's hopeless. Oh, well, that, the UDP and DOI and all of them, they are not coming together, so I'm giving up. Because when you do that, then that is the same as endorsing the incumbent.
Yeah.
Because you are not materially doing anything to try to change your own condition, whether you are in the country or not. So we need to fight, and then we need everybody look at some political party or some movement and then try to help them get on their feet. If you don't like UDP, I understand that. We can't persuade everybody to like us. Then look at ESA, or look at DOI, look at Mama Kande, look at some other independent movement. Why don't sit down and say, our people cannot be convinced? They can be convinced. But it's a lot of work that needs to be done. So I thank ESA and Mama for their goodwill. And I know that these people, they want what is best for the country. And I trust me, Musa, and I know I have shared this with you before. They are onto something. ESA particularly is strategically communicating very well. And then he is tapping into something. I think he will do a lot better than he has done in the past. And then most people are underestimating him, but I'm not one of them. And I wish him success. I think if he is good and strong, that is going to bleed the president. And we all need to bleed him individually and collectively so that he can be defeated. And it can be done. We can have a surprise. I want my party to win, but I am not going to be sad at all if ESA wins or if DOI wins or if Mama Kanda wins. I think I'll be better off with those people in charge. But so we need to encourage and then support people.
So yes. Karamba.
Yeah.
With that last statement you made, you like ESA, and of course you like Mama Kande, you want them to do well. And I understand what your thinking is, that you have ESA, if he does very well, Mama Kande does extremely well. I mean, that will create problems for the NPP, because most likely they'll be taking a lot of votes from NPP. And your own calculation, that would be victory for the United Democratic Party. Now, for me, I seriously do believe if these three parties can find a way to join forces, in terms of going after the incumbent. Because again, our voters, if there is one thing that sometimes people fail to realize in 2016, we were able to win because people believe that the alternative can win. There is this psychological effect when it comes to Gambian voters. Sometimes people don't really vote on issues. They vote on, I want to be on the winning team. In as much as, yes, like when I came from the Gambia, I said, Barrow is vulnerable. Barrow can be defeated. But, and there's this huge but, if we are not able to, if the opposition is not able to put their act together, and I told you this, I'm not talking about the replay of 2016, but people would want to see a formidable alternative that they can look at and say, we want change. And they're thinking an ESA, a Mama Kande, and a United Democratic Party finding a way. We were talking about a PPP, but I want to call this a PPP model, like a party model, a UDP model, whereby these three parties can coalesce and say, this is the change that we're going to give you. That could really scramble 2026. But for you, your notion is let them do well individually, and that would help us win. What say you?
Okay. I think there is some merit to what you are saying, and I am not entirely opposed to people at some point sitting around the table and then cutting a deal of the sort that you want. I think that also can work. Why? If you have a government or an incumbent who is running at close to 77 or whatever percent negative ratings, Koku is vulnerable not on one side but from multiple angles. Correct. Now, can he kind of just use the power of the incumbency to somehow hoodwink a lot of people and then manage a slight victory? Yes, that is also possible, because we are dealing with with a very diverse voter roster, you cannot rule that out. But I want you to look at the breakdown of the votes at this point. More than half of the electorate, closer to, it's actually approaching 65 to 70%, yet the urban area de la nekk.
Yes.
Okay. This is a person who is very, very, very unpopular with where the majority of the voters are. And his Achilles heel is in the provinces. And all I am trying to tell you is, in the scenario that I foresee, if UDP does well, because we know how to fight him better than any political party. We know their entire thinking, we know their mechanism and all of that. If we can bleed him sufficiently in the provinces with support and help from 2 or 3 other parties, he's toast. Because he will not be able to make it up in the urban areas. He can't. Because his brand of politics doesn't work with the urban areas. Kangaham in your neighborhood, if they are not connected into the bidding and then the procurement fraud and that sort of thing, but just an independent guy who is just next door to Musa, who will vote for these people, it's not going to happen. He can't. They cannot get people like you. And then some mice, he know nobody. Understand? So he's not going to be, if we are able to bleed him Sideki, he is done. He can't win. You understand? And the way to do that, there is no one formula. And I know, psychologically, it helps if people see all of these parties around a big table, this is the alternative. There is a psychological dividend. Why? In the absence of that, if we also focus on strengthening all of these individual parties, then you want to dimbale doi. Not only talking on Facebook, you have to spend money. So you are from Serakunda and all of that, make 500 t-shirts for them. Give them $500, $1,000 and all of that. Why? You can't say, well, I think they are very nice people and all of that, and then they can't get $100 from you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then we need to, if we come out of that mind.
More people
Problem be. If you like Esa, well, Esa, how na chapter, he can do all, he can't do it. Then call your Halis. T-shirt and then try to get him votes. So you get London corner, utal 15, 20 people. You have to deliver lolu si Esa. You have to be able to do something. While linyu de sonal moy, especially a lot of our young people and people, ñu bari ñu nekk ci diaspora bi and all of that, dañoo wax yu bari rek, and then they don't want to do duñ bu dee bëgg a futeeku ñu def lu nga xam what is needed. Politics is effort.
Yes.
So these people, if they are trying, you've got to help them. And what can you help them? So America, if you give them money, $100, $200, and then for you get utal, because so everybody has somebody. You get those people and then give it to whoever you want. So Lord Swing God didn't get the critical mass to defeat this. And then, if towards the election and then wiser heads or people above my pay grade think, look, let's all work together and do that. I'm not going to be opposing that, but I think we can still win without it. But it is going to require kugom esa fal start a legging I call dimbale. I need contacts, money. I need contacts, money. Not only talking on Facebook or WhatsApp group and all of that is one thing. Why, if you want to get the votes, you've got Musa. You've got to give them money and all of. So I'm encouraging people to do that. Doe has been around, and then a lot of people like them. She oversees me. Why they don't give them any money? When you definitely and all of that, they want Mr. Salah as the philosopher king. Why you neko di def dara? Dimbale wulo ko Bundung, dimbale wulo ko London corner, dimbale wulo ko Fed, Banjul or anywhere. Why you bari rek? He's not gonna, he can just
cut it more. It's not gonna cut it.
No,
and if you remember, going back during the Jammeh days, it was the same old. Most of the people were spectators.
Exactly. And
even
if you support PPP, don't let PPP die.
Yeah.
Do what Mr. Singate and others are doing. Fight for something. Hanga. Fight and then and then do that and then we'll try to do something. But if we all do that, then this guy is gonna go because most of the people don't support him. But new opposition, the new supporters all over the diaspora. They don't have any people. They have a handful of people in America or Europe, and maybe Angola or something. I'm in Newbury anywhere. So we can beat this guy either as, I know you are pro coalition, you are an eternal optimist, and then you kind of think, nay, if we change the psychology, we can scramble this thing. I am saying you are right.
Because we've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
I mean, your position hasn't changed that much, even prior to 2016. You always thought that it can be done.
Yeah.
Man, I've always believed coming together. Now, I see Dell is commenting and say that for them to come together, it looks attractive, but there's no synergy. I don't know what he means by that. But knowing the average Gambian voter, the man mangi joge Gambia, and I do believe Gambians want change because they can be nehut. But I also do know, if we go into 2026, I'm not saying that the opposition will not be able to win. Dalut Sumahel. And I could see the incumbent pulling a win. Now, little Sumahel Moi, we find a way. We find a way. Now, you know what? We want change 2026. We want to make sure that this guy gets term limited.
Okay.
And the way to do it, and we want to hit that reset button, if all of us can join our forces in a way, whatever the model is. Does it have to be 2016? I don't think so. Because I'm not 2016.
So, Kara, no, I wanted to help you out on Dell. What Dell is saying, Karamba just said that. He says, if you believe in SFR and you believe in his politics and you think he's the most qualified guy, build a critical mass, give him the resources, let him build his capacity as a politician, increase his voter size. And that if there's a synergy, he's saying, okay, you're saying, but what does he bring? What does he bring to the table in terms of voters to increase the margin that would put the coalition on the top? I think that's what Dell is asking. Is that not a fair point? That's what he's asking.
Oh, no, the point is fair as hell. I mean, I get it. All I'm saying is, for me, looking at 2026, for me, these parties coming together, when ESA made that public endorsement, I'm like, this to me, in as much as I know ESA cannot turn a vote in Masembeh, when you vote the opposition. But I thought, this was the beginning, a new beginning, because it's important for the opposition to be able to work together. However they're able to do that, for them working together, I mean, the whole objective is to bring change. I think it's important. And I think that needs to be encouraged. I mean, that's just my little sumahelawa. Now, I know what Karamba is saying and what even you just insinuated, Moine. If you support SFL, go ahead there and help ESA, put money into it. Don't just be a spectator. The same thing with if you really love Doi, but knowing our people, I know how they are. There's a reason why everybody get excited when we came 2016 Karamba. For years, you couldn't even ask the people that are not political, put you $100. When we came together, people knew how the politics musulenan affairs. Even those people were out there. Everybody was excited. They all get involved. There was a reason.
Yeah.
When you're telling me support Khalifa, I don't see that happening. I don't really see it happening. And what's going to happen is going to be what we saw in Masembeh. It's going to be UDP and NPP going at it. And all these other parties, they're going to be an afterthought. Seriously. So we need
Musa, sometimes I like your passion. There's nothing wrong being optimistic. Absolutely. But what I'm trying to say is, we're talking about 2 years. There's a lot of stuff happening. And I think the realization of the challenges ahead and the domino factor here is a president who wants to entrench himself past his mandate, even though the 1997 Constitution. But there's a lot of challenges. I think if everything is put on the table, and if we all care, I think this message of coming together, we have to find some type of a theme to encourage people. I'm not dismissive of people not coming to the table and discuss a strategy forward. Absolutely. I think that's a way forward. But if you keep saying, oh, the opposition is in, well, they are key players. You're not involved. I mean, you've been in the Gambia three weeks. You haven't engaged one-on-one to reach out to those opposition party leaders, maybe to craft that and ask that pointed question to them and say, what would it take? What would it take? We didn't do it. So I think if we are encouraging people, we have to also be very careful not to sound like, okay, this is not going to happen. I think there's a fine line there, and I just want to throw that out there. And I like your passion, with all due respect, but I think we have to also be careful. What are we doing in our own dispositions, and what are we doing in our capacity, individual capacity, in order to have this conversation around? I mean, yes, you were there, but it didn't happen.
Musa, just out of curiosity, I just want to run this by you, because I know you think like a strategist. Who do you want to see in a coalition?
Ideally, obviously, I would like to see the entire opposition parties, the main players, UDP, obviously, Makande, ESA, at this stage of the game, and Doi. But I wasn't born yesterday. So I know the difficulty of bringing, these players together. That is why what I'm saying is, there is a need to find a way, start the conversation of seeing how the opposition can bring their forces together. I mean, realistically, I could see a UDP SFL and a Mama Kande coming together and forging something. I could see that. Really, if we work at it, I could really see that. And I think I would rather pursue that than trying to do this going it alone strategy. Because man, I have a problem with that. Now, we can get into the what kind of a coalition and alliance. That's why I don't even want to get it.
Okay.
So I'm not because when you start with the difficult, then it's not going to take you anywhere. I mean, I don't want to start there. All I'm talking about, Moine, we should be open to entertain, because the whole idea is hitting the reset button to bring change 2026. All right? If that is the case, and party, and we're going to have almost 20-something parties when we get closer to the elections. Nyom Musa Jangan, Nyom Seri and Marong, everybody is announced to run for the president. Before you know it, even the voters themselves are going to be confused. So I believe that.
But you forgot about Bibi Dabo. I don't know why you don't put Bibi Dabo in the equation.
Yes, I do. He should be in the equation.
He's a serious player, very smart man.
Definitely, not only a serious player, sir. Bibi has gravitas. Bibi is smart. Bibi is respected. So absolutely. Even PPP, sir, with this new young guy.
Yes. 4 days pushing.
Again, I am not. All I'm saying is, Sarian.
Demba is okay. That's what they say in Kian. Demba is okay. Demba is okay.
Musa, I think my thoughts are evolving on this one. I think you are onto something. But Lima Bugarek, in the interim, because you know how these things work, it's a long, protracted process.
Difficult.
And there's a lot of maneuvering behind the scenes before you set up even the first meetings. But what I'm trying to tell you, Moine, in the interim, let us encourage our people, our citizens.
Yes.
I mean, especially the non-affiliated people. People like me, I'm UDP and all of that. But there is a lot of people who really are not politically affiliated with anybody. You want to encourage for them to take a look at any of these parties or these movements and participate.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, I invited the Prince Sabali to give us his perspective also of what happened in Masembeh. And Karamba, I really want him to come and give us his own analysis. Sabali.
Yes.
From Nunala.
Wow, manges VR nakang def.
How are things?
Alhamdulillah, we are happy here.
You are happy. The boys are happy.
Very, very happy.
But Sabali, what
Yes.
happened in Masembeh? You guys threw everything at it, and then you came short. What happened?
Well, nothing strange happened at Masembeh. You know the classic, if a dog bites a man, that's not news. If a man bites a dog, then that becomes news. So UDP retained their UDP seat, and that's not news. It is what it is. Kiang East is solidly UDP.
Uh-huh.
So that's it. We just made them sweat for it because we didn't want them to get it to have it too easy.
So what do you say to people who said that you guys, your political calculation was not definitely very smart? I mean, you guys went all out. I mean, ministers were there.
How did we go? How
Sabali
did
was
we
there.
go all out?
Do you think, I mean, 2020 hindsight, do you guys think that was a smart move to kind of elevate this by-election of 1,500 voters? Do you think it was smart, knowing that this is not your stronghold and the chances of, I mean, winning it was very slim? What say you to that?
Well, I think the deployment of men and resources is over-exaggerated. If you look at, for UDP, whose stronghold it is, you had Mayor Bensouda, Mayor Rohim Aliglo, Yankuba Dabo, National President, Deputy Party Leader, their strategists, the diaspora, everybody was on. So UDP actually deployed more resources than we did. And knowing UDP as their former campaign manager, even financially, they invested more resources than us. So hindsight, NPP did what NPP was supposed to do. We had nothing to lose. So UDP retained their seat. If anything, what happened there, despite all the noise, because Gambians go more by emotions than numbers, UDP could not secure 60% of the votes. The percentage is 58% despite all this noise. And for NPP, we actually increased our votes by 18% compared to the last election. And I can tell you, guaranteed, that that entire 18% is youth. So the future is, this is a signal that the future is very bright for NPP.
So what do you learn from this, especially as everybody is looking at 2026? What does this tell you that 2026 is going to look like? Because now UDP and the opposition, everybody is like hopeful, saying, oops, like we always told you, NPP and Barrow is vulnerable. They can be nehud, and people want to change. I mean, I'm just telling you, that's what people are saying. And this is an indication, clearly, they can be nehud, and most likely 2026, you guys are in trouble. What say you?
Well, today they can be nehut, as you say. Can more common nehal for the people of Masembeh who can give them electricity and roads and water? It's NPP. So if Masembeh decides to say UDP, can take a bang in your problem. It's cool. They are happy. So that yaka nehbobu bobu down on gumna. Yen lingen wara def moy to help the people to actually analyze this with minds as opposed to hearts. What happened is Masembeh is no news, and the voting pattern did not change. There is a stark result that everybody is ignoring, which is worth of analysis, at least by you people who are not politically aligned, in the interest of the nation. Because Malima Gisili, voter turnout was good, which is good for the Republic, and the campaign happened in peace, which is good for the Republic. What happened today, these two young people coming together, is another plus for our democracy and social cohesion. But if you look at the numbers, and Boubacar Sidiki Jammeh actually betrayed his party by saying that they sank a borehole and created a garden in Torankabanta and they had only 5 votes. Maybe we should use that against them for, if we were to do what they would do, raise the alarm bell and petition. That's on the light side. But actually, with NPP at 211 and UDP at 5 votes in Torankabanta, the voting patterns in this country have not changed. And if that is the case, as I know it is, 2026 is going to be just like 2021. Nothing has changed in voting patterns.
Yeah. So I heard you, because earlier there were saying, and other people were raising this issue, that the idea that the government should go to Masembeh and basically say that if you vote for us, we will bring development. And you have just kind of reinforced the same, saying for them voting for the opposition, that means they will not be getting this development. Is that what you're suggesting?
No, Musa, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I was trying to clarify is what you said, that they can be nehud mota voter lu new. su dee vote dëkk bi neexul ku ko mun a neexal mooy nguur gi kooku soo ko xañee sa vote kon yow sa dëkk bi mu ngi neex. If you look at President Barrow and how he does his politics and governance as opposed to Yaya Jammeh stood out there and told the Kiankas, I will not bring development to you because you are not voting for me. But despite the results in 2020, and look at what's happening in Kiang, and the part of Kiang, the Kiang West is even more hardcore opposition than East. They have roads, they have electricity, they have water, they have a brand new hospital. So that narrative is actually false. President Barrow will never ever do that. And I sat with him in a meeting with the elders of Kiang, and he told them, I know Kiang is not on my side, but I will continue bringing development in Kiang because I'm not looking at what's happening in now. I'm looking at what happened in 2016, and I know without Kiang, I would not have been president. This is President Barrow's words. So I can assure you, Musa, that despite these results, Kiang will get their fair share of the national cake under President Barrow, guaranteed. If it doesn't happen, call me back here.
So the Kiankas are happy too, huh?
They are happy. They are very happy there. Despite all the but they are happy in there. You know, ignorance is bliss. They are happy in their ignorance there. So long as they have porridge and honey, they are good.
So final, Sabali, final. What's the bottom line now as we look forward to 2026?
Well, 2026, like for me, this is no indication. Okay, if this is the yardstick, then definitely Barrow wins in 2026 because the voting pattern has not changed and NPP has increased the population of voters in Masembeh. But what's important is, for me, if there's a lesson I learned, the NPP, we need to communicate better with some of these hardcore areas that are against us because there's a lot of disinformation and misinformation going on within the political circles. Despite all these beautiful roads, the electricity, the water, the schools, and everything, some people, you know, they are just in denial that Barrow is not doing anything. And I don't blame those people. So for me, the lesson there is for us to retool our communication strategy and actually communicate with these people and let them understand actually where the Gambia was and where it was moving. So this communication has
You still there? I guess not. So Karamba.
Yes.
Yes, you've heard Depen Sabali and his analysis of what actually happened in Masembeh, that it doesn't really change a whole lot.
Of course. What do you expect him to say? What you heard from him is standard Sabali. And I think it's just sophistry, and it has nothing to do with the reality. And you notice he's repeating the same thing, that Kiang has roads, it has a brand new hospital, it has this and that and that. And that. It's the same, because this is Yaya Jammeh generation type people. The correlation they attach to the function of government and what the role of the sovereign citizen is in a democracy. They dismiss the idea that you are entitled to anything from your government. That somehow people bringing infrastructure in your area is a favor that is tied to how you should think politically. They don't consider themselves as employees of the people, as functionaries who are there after being hired by the people to do a job. You understand? So you would think that a modern person would not like it, who claims to be a Democrat, is not going to say, well, because these people have this now, this is the way they need to vote. You understand? And that is just, it's the thinking. It's the same way because they were brought up in the Yaya Jammeh system. You know, and that is the reason why I know they are out of touch, because they are repeating the Yaya Jammeh playbook. Exactly. You asked him the same thing. He said, well, you know, isn't this what Jammeh used to do? I said, no, Jammeh used to do this, but he went back again and say, well, in Kiang now they have a road, they have a brand new hospital, they have this. If you go to that hospital that they are talking about, there's nothing there. It's not that hospital. You cannot tell me that hospital has medicines and doctors and then RVH doesn't have. Every day we are hearing horror stories in RVH, which is the biggest hospital in the country. So they just mention these things as statistics, and then they think these are just sort of what democracy should all be about. You know, and this is what they use to kind of take advantage. And in his case, the people are just an escalator. You just use them, and then and then you use piffy line. They are happy. They are this and that and that, and then he gets back into the pickup truck and comes back to his home. You know, so I think his analysis cannot be anything but the self-serving that it is, which is to say, well, we didn't lose. The other side just kept what was theirs. You know, because of course they staked everything. You know, he was driving down there on as a civil servant or whatever his role is to go and campaign. He's advisor to the president. You know, so they staked everything and then they were beaten. So that's essentially what happened here. And then I don't expect him to analyze it in any other way other than to say that, well, UDP just kept what was theirs. You know, but you wanted what was theirs, and then it is the people that we get to keep. You know.
So, Sabali, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether you had the opportunity to listen to Karamba's response to some of the things that he said. Mm-hmm.
I heard him, and he's actually misrepresenting what I said, and I'm sure you noticed that. What I did is to contrast what Yaya Jammeh used to do compared to what Barrow is doing. Musa, isn't that what I did? That Yaya said, if you don't vote for me, I won't bring you there. Barrow is saying, vote or no vote, I'm going to bring you this, you deserve this. But he is trying to assert, because he has this perverted mindset, really, that even if Sabal is wearing white, he will see black, which is okay. Regarding the hospitals, I am just coming from Demban Hospital, where one of my boys had an incident. He is being attended to right now by expert doctors being x-rayed. But for them, these things don't exist. You cannot know better than us. The Kiang Hospital, when it was inaugurated, and I sent pictures to one of the foremost experts in the medical industry here, he said the equipment in that hospital is the best that any similar hospital has in Africa. But these people, they live in denial. So like one of my friends said when we attended Obama's primary campaign at Georgia Tech in, I think it was 2007, he said you cannot logic people out of what they have emotion themselves into. So we can't help some of these people. So we just allow them to hold their opinion. It is what it is. If that's what makes them happy, we just want everybody to be happy.
Yeah. So, Brother Marong, any question or commentary? No.
Hello?
I have absolutely no comments whatsoever. But what I wanted to tell to the viewers, especially, Kiankas are not ignorant. I mean, we have the first vice president of the Republic of the Gambia from Kiang, very smart man, and that's what I can say, right? So the Kiankas are very, very resolved in their disposition, and they understand politics very well. So that's all I got to say. I don't have any comments whatsoever.
All right. Savali, but thank you. I'm going to engage you again. We're going to bring you here as we move towards 2026. We definitely would want to always look at 2026, have our disagreement, discuss the issues, because at the end of the day, that's what our country needs. We have to talk and we have to agree to disagree. But I thank you because I sent you this last night very late and you told me you were gonna call in and you did. And I thank you immensely for doing that.
But thanks for having me. I think, like you said, these kind of discussions are necessary because we need to lift up the conversation. People can't just be dealing with emotions all the time and having in our own corners talking about each other rather than talking to each other. Thank you for the opportunity. I do appreciate it in regards to the entire team.
Thank you very much, Brother Sabali. With that, we're going to go to the people that help us come here every Sunday. We cannot forget about them. Whoa. Haramadore, Pasaka, I know last week you were somewhere in New York, my bro.
Welcome to Kid Aisha Restaurant. We are located at 1460 Boston Road in the Bronx. We are open 7 days a week. from 1 to 12 a.m. We serve Senegambian food and American soul food on Wednesdays and Senegambian food all 7 days. We do dining, we do takeout. We serve chebijin, chebiapa. We do mafe, we do lasas, we do ebe every other day. We have yassa ganat with rice, super kanja with white rice and fufu. We serve a lot of delicious foods. For dinner, we do dibi, chicken dibi, penta, whole chicken. We have shawarma, lots of good food. Also offer catering services for weddings, baby showers, birthday parties, whatever you need. We got it here at Kid Aisha. You can call us at 718-450-8606. And we're also on Uber Eats. And if you've ever been to Kid Aisha, make sure you leave a review. Thank you guys for supporting, and we hope to see some new faces.
Welcome to the Gambia, a country with a rich tradition in tourism and a beacon for investors. Experience a nation committed to progress, a home where nature's beauty is matched by the warmth of its people. A nation that is fast-growing and developing, thriving for togetherness. At the heart of this development is the Global Properties, the Gambia's premier real estate developer. Introducing you to our latest property being developed, the Lakeview, an epitome of luxury and comfort. Whether you are looking for a residence or investment property, Lakeview is the ultimate option. The Gambia is not just a place to live, it's a place to thrive. Welcome home.
Hi.
Sorry.
Hi everyone! I'm Alima from the Gambia, a small but amazing country in Africa. We have such a cool history here, with ancient empires and explorers from faraway places. And guess what? My new daycare is opening soon to teach you all about it and more. It's called the Afro-British Self-Paced Learning and Child Development Centre. It's going to be an amazing place where we can explore, discover and grow at our own pace. Keep an eye out for more news about ABS. It's coming soon and it's going to be awesome.
Caramba. Caramba, you still there? We're back. Brother Maron.
Musa, but don't forget New World, you've been forgetting.
Bro, I'm sorry.
New World International in its work to educate and sensitize overburdened communities regarding environmental justice. The meaning environmental justice is the idea that everyone should have equal protection from environmental risks and harms and equitable access to a healthy environment. NWI believes people should be meaningfully involved in decisions that affect the environment and human health. Here are some things you can do to help protect the environment. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Volunteer for cleanups. Conserve water. Shop wisely. Use long-lasting light bulbs. Plant a tree. New World International in collaboration with the Washington State Department of Ecology will help provide training and equipment to help document and end environmental abuses. If you have any questions, contact New World at www.newworldinterantional.org.
Brother Maron, I'm sorry about that.
Father Musa, I must acknowledge my Kianka brothers. They were jamming. Bas Drame said he said they are happy to adopt me. So, but Bas Drame,
they're still willing to adopt
Dell, I have to give it to them. Give credit where it's due. Dell, Dauda Cisse, all of them. yes, they did. They are very, very firm in their commitment, and they don't waver no matter what. So, kudos, man. I think it's something that we should learn besides the number game. I think if everyone says, you know what, we have challenges and we need to ensure that, that conversation move forward. We should not be swayed by one day or week of, patronizing us and all that. So I think, but Musa, you've been up to something that I think the conversation was very important to move forward in terms of, coming together and, Musa's political political angle of the coalition. So, and I think these are conversations we need to continue having. And I think if it's a simple majority, we don't have. We have the 1997 constitution in place. Even if SFR can pull 18 votes, 20 votes, Mama Kande can pull 50. it all adds up and makes a difference. And you know what? I think the conversation needs to be ongoing. I think it's a good conversation.
If you remember, when Kebafun and the Sol Bajis, they organized that Nakalengowati Coalition for Change. I mean, I came here and I said, if it is the 2016, I am not on that bandwagon. And the only reason is not I don't see sense in what they are doing. I get it, but I also understand the difficulty. And the 2016, there is what I would call, it left a bad taste in our mouth. And so we need to be very careful the way we approach this whole talk of bringing parties together. Because we all know for 20 years before Jame, we all realized and knew the difficulty and how difficult it was. And it hasn't changed. So knowing what we know, the approach has to be different. But I think it is important for us to also talk very loudly. Hey, this whole idea of going it alone may not be the smart thing to do. So if I can change, right? Going it alone. And I could see 10, 15 parties competing. And I don't think that is helpful to the opposition. Left to me alone, bro, party Burki Demba Nisa will find a way to make serious parties. I mean, when I say that, Pastor Manema, no, you're not democratic. I am democratic. Our democracy has to be managed. You can't just have anybody popping up from all over the place. Like Senegal, 200 and something parties. They cannot even have their own people to vote for them. Are you kidding me? So there has to be a way to filter out some of these unserious candidates. But I also do know finding a model, an opposition model, an alternative model, whatever you want to call it, that we can take it to the Gambian people. Now, you want change? You guys want us to hit the reset button? This is the change. And I can guarantee you, we will have a better chance of bringing about the change than going it alone. Man, that's what I'm talking about, really. And now, do I understand how complicated that can be? It's going to be very difficult. But in 2016 too, it was equally difficult. But we were able to pull it off. Very difficult. 2006, extremely difficult. Before we knew it, it disintegrated. 2011, we couldn't pull it off. Not a whole lot has changed. Not a whole lot has changed. So if we look back, you said what worked. I'm saying people can go behind the scenes. All we can do, to put the conversation out there with our big mics. And say, and we just keep at it to remind the parties, this is what you guys want change. This is how we believe it can be done. Have the conversation. Brother Balde, Demba.
Faramos.
Ninala.
Fine, Brother Sadian, how are you?
Manila, the country is on the move.
Demba.
You never know. I'm in Marong. I'm with Sariang. The country is on the move.
How is my sister doing? Musa, I don't know my sister being like Aisha. And I have to say hello to my sister Aisha. How is my sister doing? And the mother-in-law.
She's doing well. They're all doing well. Thank you. Thank you. Furthermore, the
So
country
remember,
is
no,
moving.
before we get into the country, whether it's moving or not,
Right.
today is Masembeh.
Yes.
Something happened on Saturday. A lot of people are happy, especially opposition sympathizers. Why I'm going to platform BMO? I mean, we are independent. We call it as we see it. What we do here
Yes.
is political analysis, and so it gets us in trouble. But that's what we want to do and maintain this platform to be that. What happened in Masembeh, my brother, and what does it say as we look towards 2026?
Yeah, I congratulate the UDP and their candidate for winning. I mean, that is normal, right? I think I said this in another forum that what happens in Masembeh is too simple, too small of a sample, to indicate what the direction the country is going. I mean, I did indicate it, and then if you look at the voting pattern in Masembeh, what happens there? Nothing much has changed, really. I mean, go back and look at the previous votes, for the council and what happens there. I mean, UDP held on to their strongholds. NPP tried to get into the UDP strongholds and they failed mercilessly. And they try to play their dirty politics by trying to get a little bit here and then just taking away the other side. That's what they're doing. So to me, Masembeh is good for the country. I mean, because if NPP were to win, deploying all these people, bringing all these resources from outside, and it is not true that the UDP spend more resources than NPP. That is simply not true. I mean, we know government resources; those are our resources, our own resources. All those ministers went there with our vehicles. They all went there with our fuel coupons. All the bulls that they were slaughtering over there were all our money, right? So I mean, NPP did everything within their powers. And their politics was very, very deceptive, Musa. I wrote about this. If the government threaten you with the development of your own tax dollars, you threaten them with your vote. And I really like what happens in Kiang. They stood their ground and they said, you know what, you can take your money anywhere, our money anywhere you want. We're holding onto our dignity and we're holding onto our, to who we are. And that's exactly what happens in Kiang.
Karamba was on the program earlier, and he talked about how the voters in Kiang are independent and Jara, but in your home district, Nyamina, it's like there is something that Kiang has that you guys don't have, and that you guys are gullible. Those are my words, not his.
Not really. The pattern is if you look at the history, Nyamina has always voted any government in power when Jammeh was there. They have always voted any government in power. And what they do in Nyamina is that, unlike the Kiangs, what they do in Nyamina is they come in and then they take these community leaders that have very, very influence, a lot of influence in the communities and recruit those people. That's what the MPP is good at. And they try to do that in Kiang. See, if you pay attention to the campaign, Sidi Njai called some elders there. And he was talking about how, Adama Barrow was more open than Usainu Dabo or than Yaya Jammeh, right? I mean, so he asked those elders, how many times did you go to the White State House? Guess what? The first elder that he asked, it was an old Fuller man. He told him only once. So he was trying to talk these elders into lying, pretty much lying. Some elders got up and then came and said, we went there 3 times, we went there 4 times, we went there 5 times. This is the kind of dirty politics that they do. In Nyamina, that's what they do. They take all the elders, the village heads that, really not even alcohol, but they're very influential. They entice them. But Nyamina has always voted any government in power from PPP, from, Jammeh to now, and they have nothing to show for it. There's not a single road in Nyamina. I am telling you this. There's not a single road in Nyamina. So the politics that they're playing is all dirty politics. The in Nyamina, bit of Mofaneka and MP. There is nothing in there. I know people are listening. Nothing in there. Dankunkuyon Bobunonu, it goes to 40 villages in Nyamina. 40. There's not a single road. And we had the most prominent people within the Jawara region and within the Jammeh region. They serve all kind of government. Nothing in Nyamina. So they try to play the same dirty politics. The government that can bring you, development if you don't vote for that government. This is what I'm saying. This is threat. This is using people's taxpayers' money, to threaten the voters. I'm glad my cousins in Kiang, they stood. Musa, by the way, I am Nyamina, but I'm also Jara, so I'm standing my ground.
You're both walls, Jara and Nyamina.
I'm a dual citizen.
Mungimeni Mandrek, I'm Salum and I'm also Banjul North. Dual
Exactly.
citizen.
But listen, what I wanted to talk about, I know you guys' program is almost gone. And I think the conversation need to shift. And brother Sari Maron, I'm just begging on all of you. The conversation right now should not be 2026 elections. Okay, Musa, let's stop normalizing things that are not normal. Okay, Barrow's third term is a threat to our country. It's a threat to peace and security of not only our country but the region at large. Okay, so the conversation should be no third term for Barrow. Okay, this is the agitation. Any decent Gambian, any Gambian who's interested in our political future, you know, our democracy, should be talking about no third term for President Barrow. Listen, you know, we all know it is not in the constitution, but who was entrusted with the constitution to change the constitution? You cannot fail provide dépense si sa kër yaa ngi war a jox sa jabar dépense joxuloo ko dépense ba pare nga ñib si kër yi nga ne lekka amul fi. You know, you cannot do that. So the conversation, Musta, should be, listen, there is no third time for Barrow. Everybody should, this is what we did during Jammeh's time. During Jammeh's time, we said, okay, listen, we are going to go and challenge Jammeh in every way possible and no elections with Jammeh until last minute. But you know what? This is perhaps, the election is perhaps the most viable option, the most peaceful option. So right now, what I'm telling everybody, good conversation should be no elections, no third term for Barrow. So insist, we agitate enough, we educate enough. Musa, ya hanga na ñun democracy, ya coalition binga ote. 3/4 of our political parties are all job seekers. They're individual parties that are job seekers. They look at Dr. Cisse now. They're job seekers. For a coalition. Guess what? 3/4 of them are all going to go to the NPP because they're looking for jobs over there. So the question should be,
all out coalition. I was very specific.
Whatever the coalition that you're calling for, I am telling you, majority of the parties are individual. They're looking for jobs. They're gonna go to the NPP because that's what they think. So I am telling you that is not a viable option right now.
So
the viable
option
right now is
that you're talking about, let's stop Barrow from running for third term, and that would be the silver bullet.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Insist. Musa, this is just the pattern that the whole world is on. You know, so why should we accept this kind of nonsense? The incumbent comes in with 37% of the vote for a presidential election. They come in on 37% with an incumbent advantage.
So you're saying even if Barrow were to step aside and then tomorrow the NPP nominate a brand new candidate on the NPP with Barrow's endorsement, is that going to change the deck? I mean,
yes, absolutely. Yeah. That gives Gambia a fresh hope. That gives Gambia a fresh opportunity for us to have new leaders, even if somebody from NPP or somebody from NPP. It gives us a fresh
for you. It's just that anybody but Barrow. It could even be an NPP candidate. Let's say if they were to handpick the vice president, and then he runs, Barrow back him, and he ended up winning. You're fine with that.
Even if it's sitting guy, that's what democracy is. Democracy is a level playing field.
You're gonna have problems with some people.
Listen, democracy is a level playing field. So in a level playing field, you give everybody the opportunity. That's what democracy is all about. The winning and the losing is depending on how strong the parties are. But the incumbency is what we need to stop. We need to stop any government or any president from perpetuating themselves in power. That is supposed to be our formula, first and foremost. That's supposed to be our formula. Low culture bubble and what inherit in our country.
I just want to, before Pa Samba comes in, I just want to remind our viewers, there are a lot of people saying, Sabali this, Sabali that. Look, guys, this platform is not an opposition platform. We are going to have views that are pro-opposition, views that are anti-government. We're going to bring people, because at the end of the day, we call this for the people, by the people. So we like the idea not to censor people. We should have the tolerance to listen to the other side, even if it aches us. But to say that it's disgusting, we're not going to do it. No, not on this platform.
But Musa, you should fact check. You should fact check people right there on the line. You should hold people accountable. You should hold people accountable.
We do that all the time.
If I come in here and then I start lying to you right now, listen, if I start coming here and then start lying to you right now, you should call me out. This is the tolerance I'm talking about.
You know, there are certain pronouncements. It's not a question of it's not like a fact lying. If someone has an opinion, all we can do is challenge that person. Say, this is what you're saying. This is what
Sabal stood in Kiang and he said exactly the same, exactly the 100% opposite in Kiang. Call him out on it. Call him out. Why are you not calling him out?
Calling him out on what?
Dafaragal Demba Dafaragal, he likes to push back. He likes to keep people real. Dafaragal say it's not the usual Musage Lulu Baral you Faramos, Baral you Man, I don't want to get into the gutter on someone. Man.
I challenge
someone.
him.
No, it's your guess. When did you ask me? When did you inform me that he was coming? Before we get on the program.
No, let's take this behind the scene. I don't think it's helpful to the
Oh, dad, boy, they were finished. You're scared. You hold people up. You push back. Why didn't you push back?
I did push back. I did push
back. You didn't push back. Nada.
You did not push back.
You lost your mojo.
You want to discuss it here? Let's discuss it here. I will push back anyone.
I'm going to be the moderator.
It's for the people, by the people. An independent platform. I will not be a prisoner for anyone.
We're not disputing that. Nobody is.
You making me hot. I brought the guy.
No, I will make you hot because I call you out on it. I will do that. You do that every time.
Like what?
Okay, you should challenge him because he has 2 terms. And you did not do that, Farmers. Take the floor, Lulu.
Let me ask you this. Did I challenge Karamba or not? I treat Karamba the same way.
You did. You absolutely challenge Karamba.
I challenge you too. No, you are not being honest.
Okay.
Seriously.
Okay.
The same challenge I made on
Mandal, Legi did not buy viewers. Viewers needs to make the decision whether you are the same Paramount.
My statement was to the viewers, we are going to bring people here, even if you're disgusted with those people, because that's what this platform represents.
I am not disgusted with it. This is the thing you misconstrue.
You cannot even engage.
It's my ultimate right. It's my ultimate right to feel like I need to engage someone or not. If the conversation is going to be
anyone.
Hold on. That's your perspective. That's your perspective.
Anyone.
And it's my right. You didn't hold him account. That's what
I want you to take it back that I did not push back because I pushed back on him.
You didn't push back. That's not the usual Musa gang.
How do I push him back?
Okay, Demba, you didn't push back. Coach online. Coach, come in, coach.
I even told him what you said. So come on, look, we can debate it right here.
When he said Kiankas are ignorant, I hope you would have. When he said Kiankas were ignorant,
I will not capitulate to anyone, and I will make sure
you don't have to cut.
I will engage them. That's what
no. Here's what I'm saying. I think Musa, you could do better when he said Kiankas are ignorant, and you didn't push back on that.
Bro, what stopped you from engaging him and said?
No, I did because at the end, I don't have any comments against.
What did
you know what, Coach, come on in, Coach, you are the most. You know what, Coach, Mangla Gerem Newell, come on in.
Unnecessarily.
Well, you don't have to be hard.
Yes,
you just got to answer the question. You don't have to be hard.
What you said was not honest because I asked the question. I told him, look. Even the deal about government, I'm like, you're saying basically, and that's what Sariang was alluding earlier, that you vote for the government if you want them to bring development. Look, bro, it is what it is. You didn't want to engage the guy. I respect that. But you are not going to tell me how to engage him. No one is going to tell me.
I did not. All I'm making is I have the ultimate right to say, hey, you did not hold him accountable. You pushed back on Karamba. I was expecting you're going to do the same thing. You did not. So, you are hard. You are hard and you are throwing a tantrum because I said, Dankoragal.
I don't like Mandragalumaken.
I was not going to say this thing Unless when you bring it, oh, some people are saying somebody be saying, these people have their opinions. That's why you call it engaging, for the people, by the people, Paramos. Leave them to write what they want to write on the platform. It's all right. Don't censor them.
This has always been interactive. You see comments and then you react to those comments.
Even Suma sister Bisa, yeah, Zainab Munedanga Raga, Lulu Digabite, Zainab. Thank you very much.
Zainab is the same Zainab that told me that I dislike Hussein Dabo. How would I take that guy, that lady, seriously? Come on now. Anyway, Pop Samba.
I didn't mean to stare at that. I was just trying to get us to hold everybody accountable, especially when we pay them.
But thank you very much. Thank you for bringing that up.
Anyone we bring here, I am the one who push back, the devil's advocate. I am not here drumming on any political party or agenda. I don't do that.
I want you to be consistent. Be firm but fair. Be firm but fair.
I'm firm, fair, and independent. That is something that you should maybe learn a little bit.
I will not learn a damn thing of that. No. Buraga. Dilam laming. No. Father, Lord, Father.
You have a problem of bringing an alternative. We are going to bring other people.
I don't. Here's the thing. I don't want to use the word that you use against me. I'm not going to say that. When you told me, I said I am not going to do it because the last time it didn't work, and you seen it. I don't want to do that. I want people to come on this platform. I treat them with respect. I want that back. Right? I don't want someone to be condescending to comments and all that stuff. It doesn't work. It doesn't help elevate the conversation, Faramos. If that is what you consider, hold on. I'll push back on this. I think it's the height of hypocrisy. Someone who has a double tongue, you know that very well because you're a very smart politician. You know that. Who must sonal feed him one? You don't want to enjoy. You know, engage what? Engage what? See, let him invite me anywhere. The one they fun with blah blah blah. No, that's not that.
I apologize. I mean, I apologize. I don't mean to stir any controversy. What I'm saying is
but it's good. You gotta be fair, but fair. You gotta be firm but fair. I like the consistency.
We need to fact check people.
But the
Otherwise, it's all going to be entertainment. This is not only an entertainment. People's lives are on the line. People's lives are affected.
That's not what we are all about. That's not our signature. That's all I'm talking about.
That's fine. I mean, Musa, all I'm saying is that when Lohi Malik Law came here, you held her really accountable, and we've known you for holding people really accountable.
And I do that, but I think you're not being fair.
Sometimes, Musa,
Karamba was here for almost an hour. We engaged. I asked the questions. You know what I mean? That's what I did.
But Musa, when people are on our payroll, we're paying them as a government.
Opinions that are subjective.
Listen, I mean,
I never disrespected her. I never did.
I didn't say that. I said you held her accountable.
Accountable how? I mean, I asked.
Let's move on. I didn't know that I was muted all this time. I didn't even know I was in. I think you guys are not being too fair with Musa. Definitely. I am his biggest critic. Well, I don't think you guys are being fair with him. And in fact, for the Rohi Malik Law thing, Musa didn't say anything to Rohi. Rohi came and went after Musa and saying things that she thought Musa might have said. But again, it is what it is. And the reason why we have so many people here and have our rounds is that, well, if Musa misses a question, somebody else can come back and debunk that. I wish I was able to participate in that thing, but where I am, I cannot do that. And I think Sarian had all opportunities to have challenged the guy. Because sometimes you bring people here, that I don't like, but that would not make me just run away from engaging them. But it is what it is. Again, to me,
no, coach. I wanna set the record though for straight, with all due respect. All right, there is absolutely nothing. You and I know both. If we bring people, we don't have a conversation besides the scene. You know that, I know that, Musa said. We don't even talk to each other what questions we're going to ask, right? But at the same time, we have several people that fundamentally we might disagree, but we treat them with utmost respect. I think when Musa told me this, I don't have to hide anything. Everyone is watching. Okay? What I'm trying to say is the last conversation, there were family members who watch this platform every now and then. I get feedbacks, and I told Musa about it. Okay? So sometimes conversation can go well, sometimes it doesn't go well. But I think as a professional, if we're engaging despite we disagree, we need to treat each other with respect. You know, Karamba made a commentary. I don't know whether you listened to it. Musa just listened to it. But that was condescending. That was disrespectful, man. So we call it as it is. I don't have to engage someone if the conversation is not going to get elevated. The last time it didn't go well, it goes start to personal. And I don't think I have no time for that stuff. Sitting on this platform, maybe I want to have a conversation. Not be inflaming numbers, not be lying, not be coming here. I don't have to do that. That is my role. I think sometimes I have to withdraw if I think things are going to escalate to a personal level. That is just my role, and that's how I operate. And everyone needs to respect that, right? And I felt that at that point I said, you know what? No, I have no commentary. I have nothing. But the one that I said is the Kianka folks, they are not ignorant. And I stand by that comment. Because if you're telling the entire Kiang...
I really didn't hear if anybody had said that. I think that is not only rude, but absolutely unnecessary, because you went and lost some stupid elections. Sorry, I'm going to call it that. And then you want to disparage the whole damn community. You call yourself a Democrat. They don't like your ass, so they didn't vote for you. With all the money that you guys pumped in there, with every damn thing that you guys did, you know. So, but the thing is, it is what it is. Congratulations to the UDP.
It is what it is. Let's move on. Let's move on. I'm happy you intervened, and I always respect your take. You're always a great guy.
You're filibustering me today. Congratulations again to the UDP. I am very happy that you defeated these people. And in fact, look at the people who went to that thing. These are mostly turncoats. You know, they led this thing. I'm just glad that it was led by their deputy speaker. And to me, whatever he touches must fail. But again, to the people of Kiang, I'm glad you stood your ground. Today, all the Badibunkas are your subjects, and there is nothing they can do about that. So, especially the UDP Badibunkas. But anyway.
But Demba has some good stuff before we get into this Sabali stuff. He was talking about the third term. And Demba, I wanted to listen to you because I think Musa wants to add some commentary on it. And I want to listen. I want to listen what you got.
So Sadi, and what I was talking about is that, the conversation to me should be about no other president perpetuating themselves in power. And if we all start just talking about 2026 elections, we are negating the fact that Barrow was given the responsibility to change the constitution to give us, a term limit. And he's negating that, he is suppressing that, and he's therefore now, trying to run for a third term. This is what happens in Senegal. If Macky Sall had run for a third term, he was going to win. He would have won. Okay, so the Gambian, I am saying is that the Gambians, the majority of Gambians, decent Gambians, conversations would be no third term for Barrow. This is a culture that we need to integrate in our young ones. It's a culture that we need to ingrain in ourselves. This is a conversation that we need to elevate to the next level. It's like Barrow must know the international community is not, is not in for a president perpetuating themselves into third term. Third terms are recipes for disaster, for political instability. We must have this conversation at a higher level. If all else fails, then we can find a second option, to do a coalition and defeat him at the polls. We're not calling for anybody to hit the streets. We're not calling for any demonstration. We're not calling for any violence. What we're calling for is a high level, conversation in the Gambia to make sure that no other leader, not only Barrow, whoever was there, it's not perpetuating themselves in power. This is how we plan, we implant a democracy that is going to survive the test of time. But we allow this third term to happen. We allow a fourth term to happen. Then guess what? What's the difference? What if Barrow wins the third term? Then what is our conversation? Now you're looking at other risks, political risk. This is the conversation that I want us to have. Obviously, we can talk about coalitions. Yes, but the Gambian people, the young Gambians, you need to know that no president should perpetuate themselves in power. This is supposed to be our mindset. That's what I'm trying to, and we should start gathering Gambians to really, every platform we talk about, listen, there is no, Barrow was entrusted with a third term, with changing the constitution. He refused to change the constitution. He's saying, he made it very clear to all Gambians that it's not about him. He believes in a term limits. It's not about him, but it's about the NPP. The same NPP militants that we see are destroying our country, basically. Those are the people that asked him not to go. Jawara was asked not to go. What happened to Jawara? Jame was asked not to go. What happened to Jame? We want to sit down and then continue the same pattern. That is what I'm saying. Barrow said that it's not about him, it's about the NPP. Why would NPP be more important than the country? The rest of us. This is the conversation that I'm asking us to have. And let's have this conversation. If everything else fails, then we can go to plan B. And plan B is, this is what we did, Jame. We demystified Jame. We fought Jame to the ground. And then when everything else, when that failed, what we did, we were able to defeat him at the elections. This is the formula that I'm advocating. Sorry, Musa.
Demba. I like the whole idea that our democracy would be helpful if people can only serve for 2 terms. That is why in 2016, this self-perpetuating rule was basically the guiding light that we said, let's come together to stop this from happening.
Yes.
And Jammeh was defeated mainly because that was one of the reasons.
Yes.
The memorandum of understanding that was put together was to do just that. And that is, the man was supposed to serve for 3 years. Let's go back in history. And then he should step aside and oversee a free and fair election where the constitution will be changed. The laws of the land will be changed. That no one, it will be a term limit after 10 years. It didn't happen. We are where we are. Your suggestion that the focus should be to stop Barrow from running for 3rd term, that's fine. That's a good focus to make. But this is what I believe. This is the same man who said he was only going to serve for 3 years, signed on the dotted line. Other people signed a memorandum of understanding. They walked away from it. Now they're hiding behind a constitution, the law of the land, that the man has every right to run. I cannot stop that. Should we put the pressure to say that this man should not run? Yes, we should. But that should be part of a bigger agenda. And that is to make sure, even if he does, because you can't stop him from running. Really, you cannot. There's nothing we can do about that. What we can do, though, is stop him from winning. And I would like to focus more, as an analyst, what do we have to do to make sure that this guy gets term limited so that we can change the laws of the land? That is why, going back the debate of the Constitution, I said this here. I said I would like to have, even Brother Marong came after me when I said I would like to have a term limit and 50+1 as insurance policy in my back pocket. I said that here. Right? I still do believe that having a changed constitution with 50+1 would help us achieve that. Man, I'm not a dreamer. I'm a realist. I'm not going to sit here and say we can stop this man from running 3rd term, which we don't have the powers to do that.
We do.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can educate us on that.
The power belongs to the people, Musa. The power belongs to the people.
Should we advocate for that? Yes. Should we even make mass mobilization? Yes. Now, but there are other people who think that Barrow is the best thing since sliced bread. And that is why those people voted for him in 2021. They're going to have a counter mass mobilization as well. Again, I am not discouraging anyone. And I think they should even keep doing that. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. But if to hit the reset button and bring about change, for you to say that forget about coming together, let's just focus on stopping this man from running, I don't think that is smart.
I didn't say that.
I mean, you said the focus should be.
I said we should use that as an option B.
You're saying, which one is option B and which one is option A?
The coalition should be the last option.
I don't know about that. I kind of disagree.
Well, so we genuinely disagree on that. But Musa, you know that the 50+1 that you and I are arguing about, this is exactly what I talked about earlier. Most of our political parties, are one-man political parties and they're job seekers. You go to 50+1, guess what? All these political parties are going to drift towards where they're going to get their jobs.
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, you can disagree. That's fine. You can
It's not,
disagree. That's
it's
fine.
not, look, the 50+1, we're going to go into an election. Results are going to be announced. Everybody and their father is going to be running. When that happens, do I believe that the man can get more than 50% of the votes? Look, to me, it's not about whether I like Barrow or don't like Barrow. People can say I like Barrow all they want. That's their business. What I'm saying is, I am making an analysis. The man will not be able to win 50% of the votes. It's not possible. And for the first time in our history, we will be having a second round of voting that Gambians has never been exposed to. It's a whole new animal. At that point, you're saying somehow people are just going to drift and say, "Nah, we're with Barrow." I don't know about that. Really, I don't know about that. It's really going to come down to how the results come out. If it is very competitive, Doi will do well, SFL will do well, Mama Kande, UDP will do extremely well. Gambian voters are going to look at it. In 14 days, we're going to have another elections. At that point, decisions are going to be made of parties. Let's say, for instance, SFL pool 7-8%, Mama Kande pool 7-8%, Halifa pool 8-9-10%. They are going to make decisions. Are you telling me they are going to? They're just going to go and support the incumbent? I don't believe so.
Would you rather have our resources, our state resources, be deployed on 1 or 2 elections, or would you rather have a level playing field? I mean, what you see in Masembeh, a small ward of 1,700 votes, how much state resources was deployed in there? Think about if this was nationwide. How much state resources would be deployed in there? So sometimes we need to hold people accountable. We just need to hold this government accountable that they were supposed to do this and they failed to do it. And we need to hold them accountable with the first opportunity that we have. And the first opportunity what we have is to say, Barrow, listen, you're not running for a Tata. You're not. You're going to have to tell the whole international community that you're going to work on people to go and run for a Tata.
Okay,
this is you're going to have to. You can do that. Barrow has to come out. This is what we did for Jammeh. We said, listen, we're going to go to elections with Jammeh finally. And I am on record saying this. Jammeh would have to come and steal the votes or come and deny the elections openly for the whole international community to know Jammeh has either stolen the votes or he has refused to concede the vote. And that's exactly what he did. What is the results? So Barrow would have to come out and tell the whole world, this is why I'm running for a part-time term. Up to you guys help me, drop somebody out of here for running for a long time. Barrow would have to come and explain that to the world, to the international community. That this is what he's staying in power because of what? What is going to be his reason? It's not in the Constitution. Who was supposed to put it in the Constitution? I want to run for a third term because of my party. Your party is better than the rest of the country and the rest of the region and the rest of the world. The stability.
The man walked away from an agreement, a betrayal.
He needs to be held accountable for it. He needs to be held accountable for it. That's what I'm saying.
The question is not whether we all agree self-perpetuating was the guiding light, the spirit of the coalition. So yes, he shouldn't run for a third term. But for you, what you're suggesting that should be the focus. I mean, I slightly disagree.
Politics. Go ahead, Musa. Go ahead.
I think the sisters Sister Tukulor C lay out a motion here. And all in favor, type in the commentary. They said whenever Coach Pasambajau is not available, they are volunteering you, Demba, to take the spot as an alternative. Musa Gang, with your blessings, that's what the sisters put forth. So,
Musa, I think I am too indoctrinated, so I am too of an activist.
Oh, Musa, he's talking about a hardline.
I'm going to drive this case away. So he doesn't want that.
I'm suggesting whenever Pasamba is not around, we will bring a Sabali to be one of.
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead and bring it. If you want to have I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not taking that position. You see, this is the thing. You never take things seriously. Sometimes you are, because we say something, you are all up on odds, and you're the chief strategist. We're supposed to take cues from you, right? right? So what I'm trying to say is you can bring him all the time. Whether you're gonna see people, I don't know whether you realize we were at what, almost 300. Everybody was we're gonna go with. You want to do that? Fine, you can do that. That's up to you.
But Bilai, bro, so the platform. People are only going to hear.
I don't want to. You know what? Let's continue. We can take this offline. I am not going to spend my life. It's time for Zuhur prayer. I am not going to spend time to talk about this again. That's it. We can take it offline. That's it.
So Musa, here's what I would assure you. Here's what I was assure you. You followed me before. Musa, you followed me before.
Someone's mouth is Musa.
Musa, you followed me before.
I disagree, Maliki Kombo. I disagree.
So Musa, here is what I would assure you. You followed me before. I am tough. I am tough on my platform. I like to hold people accountable. Okay, but I am always disrespectful. I never insulted anybody. I never disrespect anybody. But I am tough on my stand, and I believe in holding people accountable. And I want to be held accountable as well. And that's my platform. My platform is that if you're a journalist, I mean, you guys are not. I mean, you're media, obviously. But if you're going to hold people accountable, right? If people are going to come in front of you, they should not be getting away with a lot of things. This is what I bring to the table. Okay, I'm not asking to be brought in here. I mean, I am too busy. I mean, to be participating. Once in a while, I come in. But I am going to tell you that the Gambian people need to be held accountable. We need to be held accountable ourselves. We need to hold everybody accountable. Whatever they said yesterday, we need to hold them accountable today.
Absolutely.
Including the president, including our leader, including ourselves. If you're sitting on this platform, Musa, whether you know it or not, people are checking what you are saying, and they are checking what you're saying, and they need to hold you accountable. This is my philosophy. My philosophy is that everybody should be held accountable, not only your words, but also your actions. Accountability has to be a mindset for all of us.
Demba, I've known you for a long time, all through this struggle. Anytime you ask me to send you the link, I will send you the link. And for you to come here every Sunday, I am absolutely 100% open to it. I don't have a problem with that. But I'm talking to Tukulorsi and everybody that this platform is not an agenda-driven platform in a particular, just to kind of.
No, I understand that. Yeah.
No, hold on.
Yep.
No, we understand that. We understand that.
For our democracy to be strengthened, for our democracy to have durability, I think we have to have the temperament to hear other people that we disagree with. And yes, Demba, hold them accountable. That's what our democracy needs more than anything else. And that's what we will always continue to do. Anyone that we believe. When I spoke to Pasamba that we were going to talk about Masembeh, I'm like, we're going to bring Karamba and have his take on, and I know Karamba's politics. I know exactly what he was going to say. And then we're going to bring in an alternative viewpoint to give us also somebody from NPP. Pasamba was going to talk to CDC. We were unfortunate. We couldn't get him. So I was sitting at the party. I'm like, let me just text Sabali, bring him in and say, what happened in Masembeh? We wanted to get an alternative view. Again, that's what this whole thing is about. I mean, to be fair to you, you did not even know about it. Before we came on live, Tilala wah lolu. Nganema, I am not going to engage him, and I respect that. That is why I kept asking questions. I never said, Sariang, because, you already told me. So I just wanted you to make a general comment.
No, at the end you said, Sariang, do you have any questions or comments?
Comment, because I was getting a little bit, it's not
uneasy. I get it. I get it. I thought
Pasamba
we're good, man.
On, and I know Karamba too. Karamba, I know he's not crazy about engaging Sabali either. But that's why I asked him to just comment on whatever.
I think you need to reach out to the higher echelon of MPP. I think I am open to have anyone from MPP to come on this platform. It's not going to be political back and forth because I'm not representing a political party here. I want an engagement, not to be overly, dishonest at the best, right? So, we all know, at least make people feel good of their decisions, right? Kiankas, they voted their conscience and they voted what they felt is right. Respect that, for God's sake, right?
Yes.
Yo, you don't go into the. I think what taunts me off is I am better than everybody. I am not. I am the most flawed bunker in the entire world you would find. But I work on my weaknesses every single day. I am not. I will stand in this platform. You think I don't know that? I know that. But don't sit down here and think everybody in the world nyom kuneka dofla. Hamga lumala wani Musa.
Yes, sir.
Jai dole. Jai dole. Jai Dole, I think Masembeh, it says a lot. We cannot continue to live in a bubble without reality being gripped with reality. And I think as long as we have that conversation, we share a space called Gambia. We want all the best. Musa Yawaman. When we were on Gambia, El Gambia, Demba Balde post, there was no social media. There was no absolutely the names that you are bringing on here platform. We don't hear them. Where were they? They were freaking dining and dancing with the most brutal dictator. Lolo mo dega. Then go hunt the dega, man. So I'm not gonna sit there and start to massage these things as this thing is normal. It's not normal. It's not normal. I will engage him if he continue to reflect on his behavior. It's every single time. Wherever he goes is the same old crap, same old crap. So how do we do it? I will withdraw. You, the chief strategist, can roll the dice, man. No problem.
Musa, by the way, I don't have any issues with you bringing him here or anybody else. I mean, who am I to determine that? But I just like the high level engagements. I like the fact that we check on people when people have to take responsibilities. I mean, our struggle was a very, very serious struggle. People lost a lot of lives. We have a lot of orphans that are walking around. And when we play this thing as a politics, as normal politics, that is hurtful to a lot of people. And Gambians, we always have to remember that.
Faramos, because I think you are very hot like a boiling potato today. But sometimes that's my job. So I wanted to. I don't usually do this, but let me hold on, Musa, and I want you to be on the record here. Saul Fight asked, and I think he didn't mention my name, but I think this question is for me. He says, Saul Fight, what has changed with Sabali since he left UDP? So Musa, and I think you were on here before even when they select him as a campaign manager. And Mr. Saul, you can go back to the archives of this platform and listen to what I said at that point. My position hasn't shifted. So maybe you just joined for the people by the people now. But my position has never shifted. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And Musa Jeng, despite he is his jest, he will stay for the record while everyone is looking. So I'm just saying, because sometimes these guys come on here, they think this is personal. This is not freaking personal.
When even Sabali was UDP, I don't think that your position has changed towards him. I'm not gonna get into the details, but the truth is the truth. I don't think that you've changed with Sabali because of he's on the other side. The same thing with Karamba. I saw a heated debate between Karamba and Sabali. This was when he was, I don't even think he was not even NPP then. I don't know. He was APRC maybe on Fatu Network. Very heated.
I think so. When they call in, yes.
Very
I
heated.
remember that.
And even
Fatu was moderating that
when
day.
Sabali became campaign manager for UDP, Karamba, all of it, do wax yablisi. He wouldn't say a word about the guy. So that is why now, even having them the same time, I wasn't too crazy about that. I wanted Karamba to come and say his thing, and then Sabali would come and say his thing. Now, the people that are saying we should not bring Sabali, I don't know, guys. But we can sit here and say
work hard to bring CD, and everyone else. I think those are different takes, and they will be like CD, right? Like CD, for example. No, I'm not. That's what you do all the time. Man, sometimes
that's why people would.
Why Musa? Why Musa? Musa, one thing I want to say before I leave. One thing I want to say before
it doesn't matter, Mr. Fight, man.
As a society,
get out of here, man. I'm not paying no attention to you, man.
And you're denying me of engaging them.
No,
Sometimes
No,
Musa,
I mean, it's
people
like
are
it's
saying
salt.
that they know
It's
that I'm
sal,
an
not sal.
NPP
It's
mouthpiece.
salu, not salt. But when you put sal, you know what is it? What is that? Sal. You know, so get out of here, man. Don't. But my job,
so
you
Musa,
know,
before I
nyaka
leave,
ite fini, man. Get out of here.
am I muted? So Musa, before I leave, one thing I wanted to say.
Yes.
Can you guys hear me? I mean, just before I leave, I'm sorry, and I apologize for the time. We have to stop glorifying some of these things that are very, very destructive to our society. We really have to stop glorifying it, right? I mean, in our society, in Gambia, we're celebrating things that are not supposed to be celebrated. And we really, and this is it's raining down on our low culture, on our youths. Our youths are indicating, people believe that now they can do whatever they want, they can say whatever they want. Nobody's gonna hold them accountable. They can come back and then do whatever they want. They can even commit crimes and then come in and then be celebrated. I mean, we need to talk about these things. And this is it rains down to our culture, to our young people, to tell them that people need to be held accountable for what they said yesterday. For today, this is not politics as usual. It's not politics as usual. Politics is supposed to be a dignified game. It's not supposed to be a game of suppressing, the weak and the most vulnerable, and then you get away with people's resources. Mate, game mate. That's what they're playing in Gambia. We're paying these people. As long as if they are not on our payroll, they can do whatever they want. If they are on our payroll, it is our responsibility, really, to look at them in the eyes every single day or however we. I'll give you an example. Madi Jobate was on a platform with Sam Sidisar. Ken Fatu. Okay, that was one of the best, holding people accountable that I have ever seen. Right there in front of Samsar, in front of Lieutenant Samsar, right there, he held him accountable. Every one of us citizens, we need to hold each other accountable. Hold me accountable. Hold me accountable for my failures as long as I am on payroll. For the public ones. If you're on your private place, you can do whatever you want. But if you're on public payroll, you need to be held accountable. This is what we need to do to Sidinjai. This is what we need to do to Fapaga Tomonjara. This is what we need to anybody. It doesn't matter what party you are on or what part of the country you are on. That's just what I wanted to say. I apologize again if I bring in any controversy.
Bro,
And
this
I
platform
appreciate you
will
guys
not
again
be
for allowing me.
this platform will not be the same without people getting heated, and controversy. That is something that we cannot avoid, because we're going to talk about things that sometimes, people can get very uncomfortable talking about that. And I want to respond to this guy. He said, I invited Sabali because he's NPP. I just want to remind him, I invited Sabali when he was couple of times when he was campaign manager of the United Democratic Party.
Yeah.
So don't even go there, my friend.
But you were tough on him by then.
Huh?
You were tough on him by you were tough on him by then. I mean, I must. Yes, you were.
But I was like dancing tango.
No, but yeah, today and Demba, you were not. Yeah, thanks for steering the pot, because if you did not steer the pot, you didn't raise those points, I would not be able to respond, Musa. Put him on the hot seat. He was freaking hot like hell. I get it, but that's my job. He's gonna have his turn next time. He's gonna to return the favor. It's okay. It's all right. But I'm glad I did the bid. So, good. I mean, who is the highest bidder? Who offered? Between my sisters, Juka, Mam Lisa, Jatu, and Tuklor C. Tuklor is a very, very smart woman.
They're all on your side. They're all over me.
No, they're not.
Mam Lisa, I'm a Mam Lisa Lumba. Munema san Nelbi te dafa leer de.
No, I love my sister. I love my sisters.
Yeah,
I love my sister. Tukulor, he says, Saria is I didn't see that comment until later. He says, Saria is very, very happy. I know.
Oh, that was the beginning of the show.
Yeah, the beginning of the comment. Yes. How about my sister, Juka? I didn't see Juka today. I don't know what happened, but
no, they they had a Facebook live, or was it TikTok live with Tokuloro?
Oh, but she's an expert now. Dr. Gay used to be my favorite, but after listening to Jukas Mandinka, the digging and going deep and deep. Now, Juga, you have been no, Juga, it's like 50-50 now. It depends now, between you and Dr. Gay. No, after that, man.
I can laugh because
you gotta love my sister.
But Jukas Mandinka. One of the Baro Jipo. That was not Mandinka now. He was like, oh my God. But then did you hear the Lang's response? I'm like,
no, that's your man's guy, man. Bob Ture. That's Bob Ture's pal right there in Finland,
Yeah, I congratulated Bob Ture, but Gaidal Nidal, I should have allowed his nice kumbaya. But anyway, we gotta talk. We have to thank Karamba though. His analysis is always on point.
It's always good to have Karamba, and also Demba, man.
And Demba has become. You're becoming a little bit radicalized, like Pap Samba. Pap Samba is back. You're being a little bit. We had like an hour. Was it Friday or Saturday? We were on the phone, and some of the very things that he's talking about. Demba believes, and rightly so, and I think Juka too, they're pushing that, and that is no third term for Barrow. Let's put on the pressure and make sure that, because a rallying. I mean, and I respect that, really. I mean, I think people believe that could make a difference. Maybe they need to keep pushing.
No, and I think the caveat too, Musa, I like what Demba said. Demba said, not for Barrow to run more than 2 terms, but anybody from MPP can be the flag bearer and succeed. And I think that's a conversation internally they need to have. I mean, I've seen stuff in Masembeh when the counting was going on. And Musa, that kind of gives me a pause of where we're at as a country. And I think this is where conversation comes in. I mean, the presidency doesn't worth, right, the country to go in chaos, or there is some type of, things that we all did not desire, right? This thing has been going on. We got a brutal dictator. He's out. And I think if you do 10 years and you know the challenges, whether you can do it or not, I think it's okay to pass the baton and say, you know what, let's move on. And I think that is okay. I mean, the thing is, we're not saying MPP is gonna die forever. No, but we're saying let's start it. Even though I think it's okay for him not to pass his 2-year term. Let's have someone else from MPP to take the flag bearership. It's okay. No. I think it's a conversation we need to have.
It's interesting. It's very interesting. Even though I know that him not running will be good for our democracy. But I think the people of NPP, because they believe their best bet in 2026 is for the guy to run. So for the opposition, people that really want them to lose, are basically telling them, we don't want him to run. He cannot run, even though the Constitution. So you think they're going to capitulate? You think they're going to?
I mean,
but Musa,
I would let Coach. Coach got the floor.
Yes, go for Gambian opposition for electoral reform.
Mm-hmm.
When it was put together, everything that they were fighting against was already in our laws. They were legal. But they felt that something had to happen to ensure that those reforms took place. So yes, Barrow constitutionally can run, but morally, we have it as Gambians to want to stand together and say, no, it's not going to happen. to hell with NPP. If it survives, it's NPP. If it doesn't survive, it's NPP. This has nothing to do with NPP. Let's even look at how Barrow became president of the Republic of the Gambia. It was as a result of GOFA, who came together and said, we are going to fight electoral reform. And the first course of action that we are going to take is that we are going to boycott the 2012 National Assembly elections, unless such changes happen. And then what happened, Musa? That fight continued. Solo Sendeng died. Hussein went to jail. Everybody went to jail. So Adama Barrow, who was on the bottom pit of the people that they were going to pick from, emerged. And his emergence and becoming president was as a result of what happened day after the 2011 elections. When the opposition parties came in unison and said, you know what is happening cannot happen. We have to come together, we have to fight so that we can have these electoral reforms. And part of that, Musa, was an end to self-perpetuating rule. This was why you know this and I know that even, let's go back to NAD, even NAD, they had this thing in there and said, you know what, nobody is going to be president for more than one term. Wasn't that the agreement? Absolutely. Because the whole concept was, we cannot continue to have one person just staying in power for as long as they want. And this was why in 2016, they said, we are going to come with an agreement where you, Adama Barrow, Halifa Saleh, or Ahmad Bah, or Dembo Bojang, or all these people that are running, if you were to be selected, you will agree to serve no more than 3 years. That was the agreement. Adama Barrow said, yes, I agree to that. And reneged on that promise. There was a reason for that. It was a deliberate act. So Adama Barrow did not become president on his own merit. Adama became president on an agreement and an agenda that was set forth to make sure that nobody is going to serve the country again as president for more than 10 years. So to me, that is a lot more important than the feelings of NPP or Adama Barrow. And there was something that you said to Demba, and I agree with you. Coalition building should not necessarily be at the backbone of this campaign. What I think needs to happen, how do we form a united front to say we are not going to allow anybody to self-perpetuate, but also we will come together to make sure that if this man runs, we will defeat him and put an end to self-perpetuating rule. Like you said, we can chew and talk at the same time. The mistake that we will make, though, is let's just focus on one agenda and then deal with the other one next. No, I think they are linked together, Musa. And you know what? Guess what? If Barrow says, I am not running, there may not be a need for a coalition. Each person can go and duke it out. But as long as he continues to be the incumbent.
So you think, if Barrow were not to run and they choose somebody else, and then, but again, it's still an NPP, Barrow is backing that, there's no need for a coalition. That's what you're saying.
To me, as far as I'm concerned, Musa, my first primary objective is that nobody in that country should be president for more than 2 terms.
And that Barrow,
you know, my argument has always been,
whoever wins.
My argument has always been, sir, we don't even need 2 terms. We need 1-term presidency.
Yeah.
All right.
But there's something that Suntu said that I kind of agree, and I usually don't agree with him. I mean, using that Barrow shouldn't run for more than 10 years as a campaign strategy. I mean, and just kind of harping on that. That could also, even if he still end up being a candidate, one could use that to campaign against him and ended up losing. That I totally agree. That can be a rationale, you know. But for me, though, I think focusing on Barrow not running for 3rd term, hoping upon hope, these people will give up on that. I don't know about. This is the same person, like you said, and I said that before. We had a memorandum of understanding, signed it. He was only supposed to survive for 3 years. He was the person that we all came together and elected him. And we couldn't stop him from running, to go more than 3 years. We couldn't even stop him from running in 2021 either. So that is my thing is, let's go back and see how we can make sure something that we have control over to deny him the third term. I don't know. But again, both can be done at the same time. You can focus, like I was telling you, it was a couple of days ago that I saw these thing that Juka and Barrow Must Go campaign that is out there. I told you that's very effective. Really. Having people, just going out there, nan Adama 10 years doina. I think that is good. I think that is good campaign. And that is putting the pressure on. Whether he will listen to it or not, that could work against him. That would be a way of telling voters, hey, we cannot vote for someone who's been president for 10 years. And you guys are talking about the problems that you're encountering now. This is your opportunity to vote for change. But even if we
Musa,
keep doing
like I was saying before, Dogma, in fact, it was good because I had one of my staff coming to talk to me. The issue, man, Musa Moy, you ask a question whether if they have an other candidate. To me, Musa, I want the Gambian people to have a democracy where they can choose whomever they want to choose. All right? If the term limit is in place, if they want to vote for Musa Jeng on 2 terms, good for them. We don't need to have a coalition of political parties every time. In fact, Musa, the reason why there was a need for a coalition of parties and every time is to try to stop Jammeh's greed, terrorism, and self-perpetuation. If we had term limits, there would not have been any need. There is not a need for Doi, whose ideology is totally different from UDP, to come together. The reason why we are calling on them to come together is this self-perpetuating rule that we want to put an end to. You know, that's the thing. I saw somebody said, call them out. Listen, we have talked about this thing when Usainu made that statement. Whomever, asked Barrow to step down, I'll take the person to court. That has been discussed here over and over again. Let people not act like people started talking about this now. That was talked about when it happened, and there is nobody who is glossing over the thing. What we are faced with now is how do we solve this problem? We can sit here and talk about, but that person said it 7 years ago, so as a result, let's continue. No, then let's just, let's just sit down and wait. We are confronted with a problem now. How do we solve that problem? That's the issue. And Barrow too, Magum Jamala, Yagoda Salmani, he had said over and over and over again that he believes in term limits. When Barrow wrote a press release, press release, thanking Macky Sall just last year or 2 years ago or whenever for not running for office, that this is not only good for Senegal, but it strengthens democracy in the sub-region. I don't see any UDP guy writing that note for him. He wrote it on his own accord. So what we are doing is saying we can sit here and play this all clear. That's not going to solve this issue. Barrow should not run. That's it. Period.
Yeah, Brother Maron.
Paramos.
Yes, sir.
Paramos, you are in for like the 50 plus $1 as an insurance in your pocket, huh?
Yes, bro.
You're not too crazy about Barrow. Don't touch to Barrow.
No, let me say this.
No, I think Musa's fear too. If Barrow had any concerns, I don't think Musa would be worried about that Dahlul would succeed or not.
I'm just saying.
I don't think he does.
To be honest with you, the ideal, forget about party A or party B or party C, but for our democracy, because Barrow was supposed to oversee after the 3 years. This is an opportunity for him to do just that. He can endorse. You guys gotta understand the realities of where we are. NPP is not a party without Barrow. He's their only go-to guy. He's the only one that keeps them together. So these people, they know without Barrow, this thing is not going to work. So no, now that doesn't mean that people should not pressurize him and no third term for Barrow. We can do it all we want. But I don't think that would make him change his mind. Seriously, I don't. Now, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't, like Suntu is saying, I think it's a good campaign strategy to keep at it. No third term for Barrow, because going all the way back, no person should ever be able to become president of the Gambia for more than 10 years and use that as a campaign strategy. I'm all for that. But when everything is said and done, my friend, little smahel. And again, as just an outsider analyzing things, little smahel that I believe if change is to happen, this is how it's going to happen. That's why I said the term limit endorsed with the insurance policy 50+1, and then have an alliance of some sort. Of some sort. I'm very careful with that. An alliance of some sort, because I know the difficulty. Without that, these people will give us the finger. They will put Barrow, nominate him, unless and until we destabilize the country. As long as, unless that is an option. And then they'll be like, you know what? The Gambian people are going to decide. So let's focus on the things we have control over. And then still continue to campaign a no third term for Barrow. We can do both.
Yeah. Musa, I see your point, but here's the thing though. With everything that you're saying, right? So say we had the Constitution passed and it's 50+1, and he participated in that, right? Now, he say hypothetically he didn't win. The next person comes in. Are we going to play this ping pong with the next person too? He did 2 terms, and the next one he says, "Oh, my first term didn't count."
I didn't understand the question.
No. What I'm trying to say is this 50+1 is not guaranteed. We've seen there's a conversation, right? Even to pass it through committee stage, it's not. I said this before, right? So what everything I'm saying in the best option, what you're saying, because we want 50+1. I don't know whether Barrow is going to agree with it or not. We don't know, right? If it doesn't pass, the next person that's coming in, are we going to play the same ping pong with that person, whether it's the 1997 Constitution or whatever Constitution you might? Is it going to? I think the fact of the people, what people are saying, the Dembas and the Pasambas and the Jukas are saying, you know what? You did 10 years. That's enough. With or without the new Constitution, pass the baton. I am not too worried about MPP. That's their problem to resolve. If you build a party, not for one person, you build when that person is not, whether he's there or not, the party needs to continue, right? I think that's what it needs to happen. So I think that's the fact, let's get at it. I understand your optimism. No, hold on. I understand what you're saying. You are very careful, and I listen to you very, very careful. But I think also at the end, what I agree with you is you said these things can run concurrently, which I agree. So let's let it play itself out. And I don't think I'm going to sit here and worry about what MPP said or whatever.
If you look at going all the way back to since independence, and talking about that, I listened to MC Cham. Wow, that was a hell of an interview.
Yeah,
that was so informative. Going all the way back since independence, the way our political parties, the way they operate, it's always been, a one-man show to some extent, and there is always that fear. If that person steps aside, everything will crumble. So so that is the culture of our politics. And even if Barrow doesn't want to do it, like he said on that interview, and he said something that I cannot believe it. Seriously, that the people around him, these people are looking at their own survival. They know they don't have anything in common. I don't see Sidinjai Demba Sabali and Ibrahim Silas and the Fabus and working together and maintain a party that they are drawn together by political ideology. I don't believe that. You see? So for them, it's a question of political survival. Unless and until the majority of Gambians term limit them, they're not going to term limit themselves. And they know that their best is to put out Barrow. Not another candidate cannot win. They are going to have a hard time having everybody rally behind this new candidate. Fala affair bineka. Fala neka. No. I'm telling you.
Well, I think that's a blessing in disguise.
Everybody is saying, I am on board on that. Huh?
problem.
Manila. That is why it will be very difficult to talk them, replace Barrow. It's just like when we're all here.
I think the pressure must mount, as my coach somebody else, let's not relent. As Demba said, Duka, Tukulursi, and Mam Lisa and Jatu. I think this conversation needs to go on. And I see the angle they are going with this thing. And we should not relent, right? So when Maki wants to do this whole thing, Senegalese people relent. I mean, they did not give up. They just hold the rope tight. And I think, Gambians should do the same thing.
Maru, they were willing to do the gatsa.
Gatsa. Well, Ladim, I'm not advocating, but you know what? We all know the situation. And I think key takeaway, Musa, you hit the nail on the head here. The composition of his team. And I think I would give it to Uncle MC Cham, man. He's old, but mentally he's very, very sound.
Oh, very smart.
You know what I'm saying? So when he said that, he's trying to telegraph. These are older statesmen, but they are very savvy in their political analysis. So he says the composition of the team he has, right, Musa? But he said they as you really said, they cannot sync, even though there are personal differences. No. They cannot put that aside for the good order of the party, because they got all these egos way out there, and who wants to prove himself that he is the person, the go-to person, right? So I think if that is something that they fear, Musa, I think they have a fundamental problem and internal, and that's not our problem. I think the conversation needs to keep on.
But you see, that same argument was used against UDP, fairly or unfairly.
No, it's true. It's true.
That the only reason why Mr. Dabo is not stepping aside, it has nothing to do with, but the problem is who's going to succeed him. That most people would think that the party is going to fall apart. Now, I do believe though, the problem, it's much more of an NPP problem than a UDP problem. Because I have a feeling that Usainu stepping aside, that doesn't mean the party is going to fall apart. I don't buy that. Seriously. Do they have camps? Yes. But I think it's kind of different from what you have in NPP. These are just folks that come all over the place. Ahmad Ba, NRP, you think you're going to take a Demba Sabali, Defco presidential candidate, and Ahmad Ba will still be enthusiastic? Let me tell you something about our politicians and our folks. It's all about access. I am going to support Sariang Marong because I know Sariang Marong. Suma waila. So why follow. I have access with him. Within their parties, they have that. If Barrow is gone, they don't believe that another person coming in, they would have that same access. Fala affair bineka. Gambian politics is all about access. Issues really feel any yep danyo chorek, my friend.
They are running those Toyota Land Cruisers at the expense of the Gambian folks. So I think we need to rein, right? We need to control that. Someone, Musa, me, I don't care who comes on planet Mars, as long as that person needs to put order, the attitude towards work, government, the attitude towards state resources, and at least put some type of accountability for public officials, right? And I think it's loose. And I think 2 days ago, I was talking to everyone. I mean, that's you highlighted. We have to be careful, though. If you think people are not observing you, people are observing what you say and how you approach things. So be careful. So, I mean, if we're saying Barrow is bad, Barrow is doing this, make sure too you have a self-reflection and self-awareness. You don't do the same playbook like Barrow's been doing. I think that is very, very important. And I think the Gambia, I mean, we got Jamai. Last time I was listening to, I think Coffee Time or something, like they were doing analysis, and I was talking to a friend of mine who used to be a big Maki critic and Senegalese brother, and I said, hey, I heard this. Is this true? They were faking their numbers in terms of GDP to debt ratio, and he says it's true. And I could you imagine, what's going to come out of the woodwork if a government is instilled who is also very, very, strict in terms of digging and finding out exactly how much debt we took on behalf of government. And I think these are conversations that needs to be ongoing. And I think, you know what, the idea of these things two running concurrently, I think is great stuff, but it's somehow opaque, and it's not my problem. MPP is crying about they don't have anyone to succeed Barrow. I think they knew what the sentiment of the Gambian population was. I mean, the 22. I guess that's why they killed the 2020 draft.
This man, Kebo Njai, I mean, his posting is very telling. He said, some Gambian brothers are big hypocrite. The party you never supported, you want to tell those people who to choose, how hypocrites of our brothers are. Like, I mean, guy K-boy, never desrect. I mean, that is why when everything is said and done, for me, give me a constitution that says 2-term limit. That's the shortest way.
Musa, just to kind of
no
add the comments to what Mr. Njai is saying, and I think we had this discussion in Atlanta when UDP had a fundraiser, and you were right in there, and Mr. They have this question was asked directly to Mr. Dabo himself, who was in present. I think UDP is open for business for everyone, and I think Gambians have a stake. They have a say. I mean, if you want a vote from Kaur or you from Kuntaya or somewhere else, I mean, the folks that gonna participate, but mainly 2016, Musa, you knew this. People were on the phone calling their families and say, vote this way, vote this way, vote this way. I think this notion that people cannot be part of this conversation, I think we have to be very, very careful. I think we need to be open to listen to all perspectives, except perspectives that are deceptive and they are not on anything but self-bravado and be condescending. I think we don't need to compromise our integrity on that one. But otherwise, no, I'm Mansani Uma Benny. Just got yange jahasena. Danga buy yefi jahase faramos.
Anyway,
all right, man.
Sunday. Anytime we think we don't have a whole lot to talk about, it turns out to be hot. And that is always good.
Man, small bro, he texts me. He says, "Man, what's up, man? Day Musaje was very, very hard." I said, "Oh, yeah, it's my job, man. Sometimes he gives me freaking grief on this platform, man. He does it. So I have to pay that. Maybe next week. And I think
we bring in Ibrahim Asila in the managing director of Ports Authority, because a lot of people have been calling me. This Turkish agreement, people have issues with it. Then buga new leral. I am a firm supporter. I'm a firm supporter of PPP.
I like Musa,
I'm in love with now.
There was a lot of misinformation.
So I wanted to drag them over here so that new leral. Is this good for us? Some people are talking about mortgaging our assets. Some people are studying about selling our soul. We want to know, is this good for Gambia? That is why we reach out to them. I reached out to them and say, hey, affaire bi nii la de, lii la nit ñi di wax. Actually, Usman Jobate was supposed to come today. He called me yesterday and said that either he was traveling and he wants to come with the minister. And because I reached out to the minister as well. I really, because I mean, it's on Facebook. Everybody's talking about it. And Nigerian in the fee.
Hey, you know, I'm all on for it. You know, I think, you know, Musa, for me though, sometimes I'm not against, you know, these public private partnership stuff, right? So you look at what is the debt portfolio and what is government, and I think to be honest with you, the other entity that I would see to be definitely get into this whole concession agreement will be NAWEC. You know, I mean, you know, I mean, I think bringing people to run it, they have their own equipment they hire. I think where I got a little confused with Ibrahim's explanation was, I think he was explaining to one of the guys. He was saying this in Mandinka. He says, we are only in the scoping phase. But when he said that, he also, the young man asked him, people of Sanyang are concerned that they're not going to have the job. He says, we made it clear to the Turkish company that they're going to hire. So I'm a little, you know, coming from that background a little bit, because scoping, you know, and statement of work, they work together, but they are different. Scoping is like kind of set of parameters where what can be done in project management, and I think I wanted to hear from him directly what he meant by that, because that is very confusing to me. Because obviously you should know how the ports, the deep sea is going to be built and all that good stuff. But if you say, we told them, was their contract signed? Male new information over. It is a bit confusing listening to him, but I'm glad that you reach out to him and he can definitely.
Because some people are saying 80%, 20%, they're getting 80, we're getting 20. What the hell, you know? But again, the devil is in the detail. That's why I said
it is, and definitely. I mean, you don't know. You don't know. I think Usman Jobate should be able to tell where Ports Authority stands in terms of assets and liability. How healthy is their bank account? And I think if you get a glimpse of that, then you can tell, because the concession is, Musa, as the term implies, it's concession, right? You give and take, right? So if you're in debt and they are going to pay that debt for the number of years, maybe the split of 75-25 is not bad. But I am not.
Yes, again,
I am not speculating that. I wanted to give to the man to explain these two.
Exactly. I mean, I had a back and forth behind the scene with Pasamba about this issue. So Mui teasing me, whatever you see is PPP, you're in love with it. I'm like, look, this is the thing. I know we have the state-owned enterprises for the past, I wouldn't say 60 years, because most of it started in the 70s. And most Gambians will tell you that it hasn't worked. I mean, you call them assets, these are not even assets. They owe more than the asset is worth. It's more liability than you can believe. Was it not $22 million that government injected into NAWEC? Just
even more than that, Musa. I think
save them. I mean, I'm just saying, like, basically paying their liabilities. When they cannot pay Cap Power, they cannot pay Senelec, government step in. So all I'm saying is, let's look at another way of doing this. I mean, now, do I believe that we should just give up our assets in? But if I get any money,
bipartisan agreement there. I mean, when it comes to that, I think there is a wiggle room between you and I in terms of seeing these how these people. I'm a proponent. I'm going to tell you
I know.
If you're now funding your bill, I think it's a knack on the economy. Why couldn't you take that money and put it somewhere else, or at least pay that the 110 billion that we owe for the next lifetime of our country, than bailing them out while the Turkish company takes care of that, whatever comes out there. You got to look at
most investors will not even, I'm telling you, they will not even get into NAWEC because of the liabilities.
The risk factor is too high.
Investment that it takes to save that is not worth it. I'm going to take over dara, take over lo hamne is worth it. They took over the Senegambia bridge because they know, because I mean, come on now, they are going to run their numbers. They're going to look at this asset and see, is it worth it for me to put $100 million? All right, they're not just going to take over any company like NAWEC. You can put NAWEC out there, and you will be lucky to have any investor who would that are into this power business would look at NAWEC and say, you know, this is something that I want to put my money on. Most likely not. No, anyway, they will come here. All of these illegal contracts will be abrogated. They are not in our best interest. Sol Baji. He calls them illegal. Now, but Saul, there's something though you said that somebody else also make this argument that it's okay to have PPP, but they should channel it through the National Assembly. Let's have a conversation over it. Let's flesh it out. Let's have the disagreement. When everything is said and done, it's going to make it better. But just for the the executive, just to, you know, few of them get together and say.
Musa, but I wanted to add too, I know you're doing your best to bring, but I think also you need to reach out to the trade and employment minister as well.
Yes.
You know, I think this Saudi, whole thing about, you taking they are this whole sending Gambians to Saudi, it creates some type of a bigger conversation. And
I know.
Quite honestly, Musa, when I look at it, I think when I listen, some of the words that he said on Coffee Time, I'm probably not going to say that.
But there was something that he said. I don't know whether he misspoke, but I think that was a big one.
Yeah, exactly. But Musa, look at the alternative, though. I think, yes, people get maltreated in Saudi, doing all these things. But also, the alternative also is, how is government going to control the back way? I mean, I think it's an alternative, right? You have a choice, rather than getting into a canoe, going through the Mediterranean, they have this alternative. There should be protection in the contracts. I get that part. But I think it's a hard place that you have to listen to it and the rationale. I mean, after over years, this whole thing back way, has kind of handicapped some villages, in the rural Gambia, and I think what is the alternative though? I mean, if they cannot negotiate the Saudis, they cannot negotiate in Spain and all that. Folks wants to go down there and do this, and I think what I would probably like the minister to do are these folks brief on the risk that they are getting into. Are they voluntary? How is the selection process like, and all that? And I think if they all think that is risk,
philosophically, you don't have a problem with it.
No, because I don't. Because the fact, Musa, the alternative. You think about it. We all sat down here. We'll say back way, right? So I think Mr. Juve, one thing that he argued on, saying, okay, but what is the alternative? We went out there because we discussed these things in cabinet. These things were brought to me, and I acknowledge it, right? But how do we kind of put the pressure off and giving them an alternative, right? I know $200 is very small. I get it. I really get. But now getting into Saudi Airlines, flying into Saudi, and it's a matter of 6 months. If you don't like it, you can come back to Gambia. That's what I'm trying to say. At least there is a safer avenue, Musa, to go to Saudi. You see what I'm saying? And to Spain, rather than getting in a canoe and a lot of lives have been lost. You see what I'm saying? I think that's why. That's
employment. Some people, they have a problem with it because they're saying that to build a country, it's going to take the young people. Now, if we put together the right policies, I mean, these people could do really the same jobs in the country than shipping them out. Again, that's I know Spain, for instance. Most of these young people, they see it as an avenue. These people are not because all the money Spain work in those agricultural farms. I don't think they're in it for that. They see it as an opportunity. They get to Spain, they're out of there.
I'm
just saying.
No, you gotta understand. You gotta look at the bigger picture, and I empathize with the young folks, and it all goes into what can we do, and I think my brother there, Abdullah Ali Job, when you are negotiating, you are asking them to help, right? I don't know whether you have a lot of leverage in terms of other than making sure that the protections are in place in the contract to ensure that they don't turn them into slaves and all that stuff. I mean, if that's because you have advocates for them and all that, and I think he says there was members of the embassy and all that stuff. So I don't know the details, and I'm not advocating, but I think you have to be careful. You make sure you protect your own country, folks.
Bro, in support of you, a lot of countries are doing it. Somebody said Senegal, even Morocco, they are doing it. I mean, again, government, especially most of these developing countries, they have problems creating jobs for their kids. For their now you can call it inefficient leadership. Maybe that's why we need to throw them out of office and bringing in a transformational leader who can do that. But at the end of the day, there is a reason why we're not in the Gambia. We are out here. We're out here doing our thing, making money. There is a reason why $760 million is shipped into Gambia every year as remittances, bigger than a good chunk of even foreign direct investment coming into the country. So again, government is saying that people working outside, bringing in money is good for our economy. Now, but the trade minister said something on Coffee Time that I think he spoke when he said that they're reaching out to us because we are all big and tall.
I think he misspoke, and
I think that was just the only reason
he ruffed some feathers. I get it, definitely.
The only reason I'm like, dude, I would not say that, because we do have short people too. But
and the thing about that is, when I heard that, I think I heard, and I read it somewhere. Is the first batch the 50 folks that are going to start? Are they all females? Is that what it is?
No, I don't know. I really don't know.
Someone told me this, but I have no proof to that. So I'm just saying. So that kind of contravenes what he said earlier on Coffee. That's why you just got to be careful how you go out and say these things, because people really felt it. I mean, people had bad experience.
Somebody said something, paying for and encouraging people, PPP. Now, this Adu, you're talking about we bring in people that I don't even know. You said bringing in Sanyang VDC community. I don't know who that is. And you talk about...
No, he's talking about Dr. Say. He was on Coffee Time. I mean, they came on Coffee Time. He raised very valid points. And, I think there was someone else on Coffee who was saying he knows him.
Semega Jane too. He said, bring in Semega Jane.
Yeah, Semega, I think he's a PM. So he had I saw his insights. He wrote very, very... I mean, the guy is ingrained in project management and he understands deeply.
Was he on Coffee Time?
No, he was. I don't think he was. I don't know. Maybe he was on Coffee Time. I think he was on Coffee Time once.
But Adu,
but he's my friend on. He lives in Finland, I believe. But really experienced person too. I've always followed his write-ups.
Yeah,
Adu, I think he can be a great asset. Yeah.
That would, anything to enrich.
Musa, what I don't understand about this whole concession, all this confusion? You got an expert, an SME by all angles, a Gambian, educated, grounded, well-respected, have a proven track record by the name of Bax Toure.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't lean on these people for advice
well.
and consulting and all that, because I think they can guide them as far as even the communities that are impacted. Because sometimes you want to tamp down the temperature, you don't want to rise it. Because what Adu is saying is, if you listen to Mr. Sanyang, even the homes that are impacted and how their account is, and what someone else said, there's a lot of bit of confusion and all that, and that's why
in terms of compensation.
No, and that's another another area that I'm confused, because he's saying that scoping something. He says he understands. Ibrahim is the one who said it. He says he understands why the villagers are upset because someone went out there, was marking people's compound and putting highlighters on it, blah 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 blah. So I really don't know. I'm confused with that one as well. Maybe he just needs to talk to us about it. But the VDC chairman, though, Sanyang, I listened to him. He raised very, very valid points.
Oh, okay. That's what he's talking about. Okay. We'll definitely. What we are going to do, Adu, I mean, Minister B, and then with Jabate, then we can bring in Sanyang and have his take on
Sanyang and Juve. I mean, maybe you bring Juve, then Sanyang. I mean, these are issues that I think the conversation. You can buy 10 OV vans and you can line them from Carton to Koina, but if the messengers are poor and they cannot deliver FT, so OV van so lolu moy problem.
So you don't think the OV van delivered in Masembeh?
I don't think I don't think it pays its dividend in Masembeh, though. You know. Anyway. No, lolu suma halal like jis. I'm not trying to throw in a jab, but you know, if you invest,
we will be back.
Yeah, if you invest, at least Musa, you are a very savvy businessman. If you invest, you need to get the net worth of your investment. Okay, Father.
No, but listen now. Maybe it's a long-term investment, and they're not looking for short-term rewards right away. Maybe.
Okay. Dina leer. I'm affair be full dore was the contract. Then the contract being OV van. So we didn't just there. Didn't leer. I'm a pen problem. But almost it was good engaging you today. All right. Manje Jega, you are on the hot seat. I know I'm defaulting on Umi to help me out here. Mutoga ler dinabu safsa. The chicken.
Gaidal, you won this hands down.
Who today?
Yes, that's all they're saying. That I am the but I don't expect anything differently.
No, Yenan side and you want to Sariang. Saria, you are too partisan. Saria, you are screaming. Saria. No, I'm not gonna take this. I will see if that is consistent. I'm just gonna tell you because
we will be back.
Okay, inshallah.
Next Sunday, buddy. Next Sunday it's gonna be.
No, it's the second day of Ramadan.
It's gonna be second day of Ramadan.
Why one day? We are having guests. I think we are having the guests. We can roll interviewing the guests for the entire 4 weeks of Ramadan. I think that's the way.
It helps there.
Yeah.
It helps there.
No, it helps. Why can't you organize and get everybody lined up, including your own folks from MPP higher echelon?
Now that is a low blow, but we will be back. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Klaus Berry. They love me too.
Maybe when you invite them, I'm gonna send the link to Tukulor or Duka to be on the background and kind of help us out here navigate through this whole thing. You know.
All right, man.
All right,
Thank
man.
you guys. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate all of you, even the ones that don't like me.
No, my sister Zainab today, man. Zainab was very fair.
No, Zainab, when I come to Gambia again, I'm gonna come and visit you.
Was on the spot.
You are not fair with me one bit. Zainab is not fair with me one bit. Not one bit. You know.
All right, man.
Ask your brother. He was my classmate, Nabi Diab. That's my homeboy. All right.
All right.
See you guys later.
Thank you.